Hello, welcome to the Truth Runs Deep podcast. I'm Taryn,
I'm Callie.
and we're here to talk about all things Law and Order, SVU, organized crime, fanfic writing, and more. Today we're really talking about the more. It's already been a bit. So there's two major things we have to accomplish. Like we were like, we gotta do it, and then our brain just stopped working. We could never
We were
finish
gonna
it.
do it, and then life happened, and then
Mm.
more life happened.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
we never talked about
yeah. So there's
other show.
two main things in our agenda today. One is we're gonna talk about Cabaret. Callie got to see Ainsley's production of Cabaret, and I saw it locally at Alabama Shakespeare. So we both have really loved and enjoyed
It is
Cabaret, and we'll
like
talk
our
about
current.
Cabaret. It's an amazing show.
Yep.
That's the first thing on the agenda.
That is only the two of the three
Oh yeah,
productions. Like
yeah.
I've told
Mm.
you multiple
We have
times.
pictures and stuff. So if you're watching on Spotify, uh, please do. We might. I might put this on YouTube. Actually, it might be. Somebody need to start putting these on YouTube because it's not that hard.
I kept telling Taryn that Cabaret, for whatever reason, is the show of the summer because
Mm. Everyone's
not
literally doing
only did her local theater have it, and they Ainsley did it at the Virginia Theater Festival, but there is another production that the Barrington Stage Company did, starring the amazing Krista Rodriguez as
it.
Sally Bowles, who um also played Wednesday Addams like Ainsley has. So,
Mm.
more 6 degrees of separation up the wazoo. Anyway, yeah, so that's three
Yeah.
productions of Cabaret that all happen around the same time.
Hmm. Like I
And
saw it like in person like a week before college. I was like, once you see the show
you're
and
going to,
then you see Anne's, you're gonna love it.
yeah,
So
and I,
that's on the agenda. The second thing there's three things well, we have pictures and stuff, so if you're on Spotify, you can see them. Oh, I'll put this on YouTube, you can also see them.
yeah. I
Um,
have the
then
pictures
we
that
have to talk about
I'm
then
gonna
you have
show
to show.
her on Instagram anyway, so
Yeah,
you have access to
if
them.
you follow us. And then if you what's I say? Oh, we kind of did not we were so distraught that we never recorded the first part, the Law and Order season, the Mothership season
Yeah,
finale.
we never talked about it, so we're gonna
Never
have to.
talked about it, so we have to talk about it.
We also have to
Yeah,
discuss the things in life happening that are
yeah.
because yeah,
About ourselves or about the writer's strike or both.
the strike
Okay.
that
Yeah.
because
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
because we may not be getting fall shows, y'all, if things are not resolved.
And I
We're
have
supposed
a
to be.
theory because of the strike that I'm going to talk about when we get to the show. Also, yeah, we both have our, if you aren't watching, we both have our jet shirts on.
I don't mind even. Yeah.
Yeah. Woo!
Mm.
Um, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Um,
Cabaret. Okay.
Cabaret.
Also, I went.
So,
Well, okay. So, okay. Also, first, I also went on a trip the
good.
past like 5 days. So, like, I have still trying to
Yeah.
make my little brain connect again.
I was
So,
in Virginia, I was in Chicago.
yes.
Haven't been here.
We'll talk about those things as we get there. 'Cause the pictures are kind of in the order like they were taken. So like my cabaret is first, and then like everything's
My
kind of mixed together after that. So we'll get
I say my cabaret, but we've been talking about it for about a month and a half before
yeah,
we even went to see it. So,
yeah.
um, okay, for
Yes.
anybody who does not know what cabaret is, because we should probably give you a reference.
Yeah, you
Cabaret
probably should know what part
is a musical that was written in the 1970s by the amazing composer pair of Kander and Ebb. Um, John Kander was given a Tony Award for like a Lifetime Achievement Award for all of his work, and he also wrote Chicago, so big time thing. There has been multiple revivals and a movie musical of Cabaret since the original production. Um, there's currently a West End revival that is happening that I will discuss more later because boy do I have thoughts.
Oh, I forgot
Uh,
to take my thing out. Hold on. You can keep talking.
my
My
apologies.
little, my
1970s,
little.
written in 1966.
my little thing that I got from the gift shop.
Based on
Keep
a
talking.
play called I Am Camera, which was adapted from a Goodbye to Berlin. Um and is a semi-autobiographical novel by Anglo-American writer Christopher Irshwood, which drew upon his experience in the poverty-stricken Weimar Republic
Tactical finding.
and his intimate friendship with oh crap.
Hmm.
I really hope this age didn't translate to the musical.
Hmm.
19-year-old cabaret singer Jean Ross. Oh
Hmm.
God. No. Oh,
We've
that
been
just
doing some writing. We
just makes
published one fic already. We've been doing some like
cabaret
cabaret,
inspired
Jalakai
stuff.
inspired kind of pieces. So look like, oh,
So yeah, the fact that that just said
wait, was
19.
that in there? Hold
Uh
on.
oh,
Let me
because
see.
well, you'll get it when we actually start explaining.
I think
But
it was something was was it in
like um you'll get it when we start explaining. But like um that if the character that was based on that is actually 19, like that does not help anything in the slightest. Um
no,
no, it doesn't. Anyway,
but,
all right. So that's the background. And Cabaret has been Cabaret is
yeah, it
such a
mentions it in here that she was 19.
oh God.
It says
Because the whole
Christopher
time I'm
Ishwood
watching the show,
upon
I'm
his
like,
experience in the poverty-stricken Weimar Republic and his intimate friendship with 19-year-old cabaret singer Jean Ross, aka Sally Bowles.
Yep. So Sally Bowles is the one is the female lead in the show. Um,
I got my Play-Doh things with
yeah, the
names
whole
on
time I was watching, I was like, oh, it's like I don't know how old this character is. I was thinking it's the same age as Angel, same age as Ainsley.
it. No,
Nope. Lovely. Um, anyway, Cabaret is such a big musical. Many stars have been in this show. For example, the original movie, Liza Minnelli and Joel Grey. Um, the original, like, Alan Cumming has been in it. Natasha Richardson has been in it. Emma
mm,
Stone has been in it. And this is not the first time that a Law and Order alum has been in it,
mhm.
because Raul Esparza
Yeah,
plays the MC on
he's an
Broadway.
MC, y'all. There's a couple of clips on YouTube. Like, I'll gotta go see them. They're so good.
So good. So yeah, so now first Raul was in it, and then now Ainsley's in it. Um, all right. I guess we should
Yeah,
start from
we have. I
the
was
beginning.
showing
That
you have your.
it's
I mean, we'll talk about the details. This is our
it is
playbill.
yeah, and then this
But
is
like,
mine. Just because it's like their local, like it's their
yeah,
summer
yeah,
festival.
yeah. It's Alabama
And
Shakespeare.
yours is like a
So it's fun.
Liza, like yours is the like the Liza Minnelli Sally
Mm,
on the cover,
mm.
which is awesome.
But that's
So
kind of how like they theme all their shows. So like on the back it has the shows coming up.
oh, that's
That's kind
really
of like their aesthetic is kind of like the like one thing where it's want kind of thing.
so
Because my
um
Little Shop of Horrors one is kind of like that too. Because it's up there, but I was looking at
so
something like
Cabaret is set in 1929, 1930 Berlin during the twilight of the Jazz Age. And if you know anything about history, um 1930s Germany, you can probably already guess.
it's uh, it's
That's
post
the
World War
plot
One.
somewhere.
Sorry,
Or
it's post World War One, and it's the sorry. I know a lot about history. This is my like special interest about the World Wars era. About how the 1930s is the First World War has ended, you know, and like Germany is like collapsed. Like they're like their government has pretty much has been in shambles ever since the end of the First World War. So this is a lot of the time where different like not exactly regimes, but like different like little groups start popping up.
yeah.
But the most notable at the time, as we know, is Nazism. Is the old like the main one, but there's a lot of other small ones that kind of go on. And the show makes reference to this a little later. Well, we'll get to that part in the show. There's a big ordeal about this, but so like there's kind of talk about like governments and things going on, and about like how people feel about Jewish people, how people feel about being German, and that's
Yeah.
kind of like the like background of like what's going on historically. So that's kind of like helps set the stage kind of for like historic backgrounds of like, because people were really poor. The government wasn't great, so
And they
places
got
like the Kit Kat Club kind of was like people turned to that to make money because that was it. The government
that's
can't help
where
you.
this show this musical takes place. It takes place at the Kit Kat Club, which is like a nightclub in Germany. Um and it focuses
Yeah,
on
it's a
like
night.
the
Yeah.
pleasurable life.
Also, one more thing. I'm sorry. I hopped in and immediately said something that I needed to say because it fits into it's in the background of the stage. Also, Berlin was also like the LGBT capital of like the world at this time. I needed to say it.
Oh,
I needed to
that
say it
makes
before you like, because I like a couple
yes.
months ago, I went to a speaking talk about like the pink. It was about the pink triangle, which we'll talk about at the end of the show because that's important. But like, the speaker was talking about how like Berlin was like the LGBT capital of the world. Like it's like it's so yeah, but it was
Especially
kind of but it also was kind of illegal to be like openly. It was like to be like openly queer was kind of illegal. It was very much illegal. So
everybody in the
like
show is okay.
so yeah, so like in a sense, so like
Literally.
it was like the Kit Kat Club, people were able to like be openly free to do whatever.
Nearly everybody in the show is queer.
Yes, literally it was.
Um,
Anyway, that
yeah.
was my like thing I had to plug because it helps make the story make sense.
Obvious. Yep. Okay. Anyway, obvious this should be going without saying, but spoilers ahead. We are basically just going to deep dive.
Literally, if you don't, you
If you
may
don't
just
want
make this
to
two
know
episodes.
about it,
Honestly, we'll make it two episodes. We're gonna make it the Cabaret episode and then the SV episode, just because
I
like I
told
feel like
you it was going to be a long thing. Anyway,
I had to put my own. Okay,
so
anyway, sorry.
basically
This is the
the
Cabaret episode.
premise of Cabaret is that it focuses on the uh American writer Clifford Bradshaw going to Germany to write a novel
Yeah.
and his relations with the cabaret performer Sally Bowles. And there's a subplot based on the romance between the German boarding house owner Fraulein Schneider and her elderly suitor Herr Schultz, who happens to be Jewish. And then overseeing the action of the entire show and the club is the MC, the Master of Ceremonies.
Mhm.
Um, all right, let's see.
Fixing my stuff because I
Start
didn't
from the
really.
beginning.
Yes.
Basically, the beginning is the MC comes out on stage. Um,
Kind of gives you a welcome to the Kit Kat Club,
really
is what you get at the beginning.
my MC was played by I gotta
Sure, why
find
don't you put the
David
phone
again.
there? Yeah. While you're looking out, I'll find mine at the same time.
I
Uh,
as I just because I can't get the page, my fingers are slipping. Found it.
mhm.
By the incredible David Matter. I hope I'm saying this right. Matar Merton, who thank you Actors Equity Association for letting him be in the show because I'm not gonna forget his performance for a long time. This man
Mhm.
was born to play the MC. He has such a stage presence and his voice is incredible. And he had such a comedic timing. It was great. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah. So he starts off, he's telling her like welcome, like and basically saying like life is beautiful, life at the Kit Kat Club is beautiful. Even the
Mhm.
orchestra is beautiful. You can
Yeah.
forget all of your troubles and worries at the door and focus on what's happening at the club. And I
Yeah.
love
YMC was played by YMC is played by Pierre Marius. I don't really want to pronounce that, but it says he's been in Broadway's Aladdin, Scorpion King 2 is on Netflix, Black Beauty on Disney, Wake of Death. Uh, yeah. So.
Where's David? Because I know David was in something big before. Yeah, he was in the off-Broadway production of Afterglow, which was like
Mhm.
his thing before he
Mhm.
did this.
Yeah.
Um, So the
That is
best
neat.
part, I love
Oh,
that this I don't know if your production had this, but my production had him. He literally jumped off the stage to talk to the audience, and I was with my
yeah.
mom. First person he
We
talked to,
had
was
like,
my
yeah, there was like a
mom. Like,
special like seating at ours where like they had like little tables in the front, so like you were like part of the club, at the like front. So like there were people like it's like the VIP section. I didn't win the free ticket, so I couldn't sit in the VIP section. But I was pretty close to the VIP section. I was like 5 rows back from the VIP. I was pretty close. But yeah, so like he was talking to like the people in the little table section.
and then
I
he
put
sings
that picture in here.
probably
Hey,
one of the like most well-known songs from the show. Welcome. And it's like welcome and beyond venue, welcome. Basically welcoming everybody to the cabaret. Oh, what are we doing?
just getting the
Oh, we
picture.
got the pictures.
We do have picture. I was trying to show you
Everything
like
came prepared.
the tables were like right here, and you very obviously this is where I was. So like I was pretty close. I mean, this really cool ceiling. Like this was like the ceiling as part of the set.
Oh
That
no,
was
no.
cool.
Nice screen share?
Yeah.
All
I
right,
think I
now
have to give you permission. Actually, I think I have to give you permission to do that, but that's okay. We'll figure it out.
do so
We
because
made
I'm
a
gonna
whole
pull up
we made
the
a
comfort
yeah.
like
We made like a whole we had made a whole like thing of photos, but that picture's not supposed to be in there, but that's okay.
I'm gonna pull up
Hold on.
production. I have production. The theaters.
Participants. Hold on. I think I have to give you
Mhm.
permission to do that.
All right, I don't need it right now. I had
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna figure out how to do it while we're talking. 'Cause I think I can, or can you just do it? I may have to give you permission to do it.
I had it while I was talking because I was like, I gotta find all these pictures here
I
so I
think
don't
you just can do it.
my phone.
Now, who can share? Okay, never mind. I fixed it. So you should be able to share now
Okay.
when you're ready. Okay,
All
moving
right,
on.
so we have that, and then during the song, the entire ensemble comes out. And I tell you, from the moment this ensemble came out, I was like, I am going to have the time of my life.
Yeah,
This
there's
cast
really.
is
I tried to tell.
phenomenal.
I tried to tell Callie before she came that like this play is very before she went, I was like,
Yes, I knew,
you're
partly.
gonna you're gonna it's very sexual. It's
Yeah.
very like you're gonna see some very like raunchy, not
Everybody,
exactly raunchy,
they
but like
have everybody in like main like color themes
mm,
of the show is like black and red
mhm,
and um some tan. Everyone's wearing like shorts, tops, and skirts and
yeah.
fishnets. I'm like, this is
Hmm.
fun. And
Hmm.
just beginning, like everybody is, it was just amazing. And here is where Taryn kind of threw me off a bit. So while they're explaining like everything about so while the MC is introduced, he takes a moment to introduce all of the cabaret girls, and he makes like a joke, like a innuendo about every single girl, and then introduces all the cabaret guys. And then here's where Taryn threw me off of it because she said that Sally comes during her first appearance is during her song, which isn't like for like 3 songs in. So I'm thinking, okay. And then the guy says, "Oh, and I gotta introduce you to here
So
is Fraulein Sally Bowles." And in the Virginia theater, there's like a sliding door that opens.
mm,
Ainsley walks out. I could hear like a few like gas in the audience, and
I was like, it's coming sooner than you think.
I didn't know that. So and Ainsley walks out in this gorgeous red dress with her arms out like this, and she's waving, and she goes, "Hello." She said her first line is "Hello, darlings," and I'm sitting. My seats were second row, so I'm sitting there with Ainsley 2 feet in front of me, waving at everybody with the cheeriest smile on her face, and I was like, I'm not gonna survive this
Mm.
production. Um, and I was like, it was so different to me watching Ainsley on TV every week, and then
It would be in front of
having
your
a
eyes.
real person in front of me, like, because obviously, yeah, I know Ainsley was real, but like it didn't like set it in stone for me that I was like, they're right in front of me.
Hmm.
That's crazy. And yeah, so I literally took 2 flights. This They are the reason
Yeah,
why
it was crazy. We were
production.
having a wild time. Like that same like day, we were both having a wild day.
I did took 2 flights. I woke up. So I live in Mass. For those of you who do not are aware, I live in Massachusetts. This production was in Virginia. So I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning to get a 9 a.m. flight to Charlotte because there's no direct flights from Boston to Charlottesville. And then I had to take another flight to Charlottesville. And my flight to Charlottesville got delayed. So I'm in the back of my plane,
We're
freaking
gonna have
out. I never able to get there on time. I mean, I did, but yeah. So I took 2 flights and was in Virginia at like 5:30 and went to see the show at 7:30. After the show, I had to get up at 3:30 to get my next flight to go back home. And I got home in Massachusetts at like 10 a.m. This is literally a day affair
Yeah,
for
I was in Chicago.
yeah,
It was like my second day in
all
Chicago.
for Ainsley. Yep,
Yeah.
worth
Yeah,
it.
it was my second. I don't know what day it was. Was it Friday? It was Friday. I've
Because
been in Chicago
I
5
gotta
years.
give you like in like background. Like my birthday's at the end of the month, and I was like, this is
Yeah,
all I want to do for my birthday. So
yeah. We'll do a Callie gets a birthday episode too. We just haven't figured out what we're talking about because we'll figure out
this
what we're talking about.
end up being more of this depending on what happens.
Probably. We'll find out what happens in a couple weeks.
Um, all right, and then everybody introduces them. Like everybody's introduced, everybody's doing some dancing, and right off the
Yeah.
bat, this is such a contrast from Jet. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they
Very.
themselves said, yeah, they cannot be any more different. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but like Ainsley's literally like walking around like smiling at everybody, like in like a just dress and heels, and I'm like, and a smile on
Jet
her.
would never.
Jet would never have a smile that huge on
Jet
her face.
would never. Unless she was something she was really happy about or excited about.
And then so I let's see. Oh, I forgot. I can. Eh. Can I share my
Mm-hmm.
screen? Can I share my
Yeah,
screen?
you should. You should be able to.
All right.
Or
Oh crap! I forgot how many things I have open. Oh,
tabs.
lovely. Hold on.
My tabs.
Can you stop?
Alex, only
Can you stop recording for a
I
second?
can
Just to
pause. I can pause the recording.
make sure. All right, guys.
Okay.
We're
We took a little jump cut. They probably won't be on, but you'll never know.
I had to get the pictures of the beginning number because first off, they literally ended in a kick line.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fun. And then let me see. Let's hope this works. Oh, good, it does. This is the
Yeah, there you go.
good. So this is one of the pictures that the Virginia Theater Festival Instagram page put out, and this is what it looked like at the end of the opening number. There is Ainsley in their gorgeous red dress, and then David is in the middle. Um, it like literally like I feel like this just set in tone this entire
Mm-hmm.
production, and also just that
Cool.
look at that picture itself, like you can tell like how phenomenal it is. The photos were done by Tristan Williams, who did like all the photos of this production. Thank you, sir, for these photos, and also they're incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only picture I need at the moment. Back to the show. Where did we leave off? We're still at the beginning.
We're
Anyway,
literally on the first number.
there's that. Um, and then we transition to um Clifford, a young American writer, has showed up in Germany. Clifford Bradshaw,
He's on
or
the train.
Cliff, he's in the
His
train.
the first his first scene's on the train.
and he's journeying to the city to work on a new novel, and he encounters his name is Ernst Ludwig. Oh, first I gotta say, my Cliff was played by this guy, Keith
Mm.
Rubin, and my Ernst was played by Jeremy L. West. I gotta preface this right now with saying this dude is tall. And
Oh,
then Ainsley is only like a little bit taller than me. So that was the height difference itself was fun.
it
Uh
says my Ernst was played by Andrew Flick. He's been in a lot of productions, and they put him in alphabetical order, so to be like, one. What are we looking for? Uh, 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 Clifford is played by Max Wolkovitz. Yeah, but we can.
I don't know, I was trying to get another picture up, but like I can only find it in video, and I'm trying not to show all of my pictures at the same time. Um, okay, I'm back. Did you find your people?
Yeah,
There's
I did. I said it.
okay. So we Ernst Ludwig, who is described as a German smuggler, offers Cliff like black market work to you
He's
know,
smuggling
make a
something.
living. He's smuggling
I think
something. We're not
it's
gonna.
not clear what this something is, but he's
He's
smuggling.
basically making like to give him work so he could afford a place to live.
Yeah,
Um, and he goes to the boarding house that is owned by um Fraulein Schneider, and a few of the people, like a bunch of the other people that live there, all work at the club.
yeah.
Um, and she offers him a room for 100. I can't say this. Um, it's spelled Reichsmark, but in the show I kept thinking they were saying marks. Apparently, we were saying
And so,
oh, anyway, it's like the German
good.
currency at the time.
Mm.
And but she's like, I can only pay 50. And after a little bit of time,
They
she
negotiate
to let him in for 50. Um, and she sings a song.
because she's like the price is 100. He's like, I only afford 50, and they kind of go back and forth about.
Yeah, and she sings a song, and I have to shout out mine because she's also famous. Mine was played by Janet Dickinson, who has is a Broadway veteran, actually. Um, it was her first production here at this theater, but she has been in the original cast of Anastasia, Bullets Over Broadway, The Grinch Stole Christmas, um, and she was on the tours of Billy Elliot and 9 to 5. So yeah,
Mm.
this woman is talented and knows exactly what she's doing, and she was such a great Fraulein Schneider. Who was yours played by? Did you find them?
Mhm.
And she sings a song that she has to observe that she has learned to take whatever life offers, and it's called So
Yeah.
What. Um,
Stacia Fernandez.
okay.
She was in Broadway in Mamma Mia, The
Woo!
Drowsy Chaperone, Swing, Tom Sawyer, The Scarlet Pimpernel, and
Ooh,
Beauty and the Beast.
those are good shows.
But she says her favorite roles are Diana and Next to Normal, Adelaide and Guys and Dolls. She's in The King and I, Cats, The
That is,
Drowsy Chaperone. She's also been in film in Enchanted, The Shaggy Dog, Captain America, and Frozen.
wait, hold on. Show me this person's picture. The name sounds familiar.
Uh,
Do they have a picture?
she's right there.
What's her name again?
Stacia Fernandez.
The name sounds familiar. I'll look it up later, but it sounds familiar. Anyway, so then Cliff decides to visit the Kit Kat Club, and
Yeah.
the MC introduces, like, this is sad, and then we get introduced to Sally.
We are
I,
back.
I
Zoom
didn't know
started.
what was going off
Yeah.
while I
I mean, you know, Zoom went boom because I haven't we don't pay for Zoom. We used to before, but now they added a thing where you have to wait 10 minutes in between Zooms. So we realized like, oh my god, I have to wait 10 minutes.
no. So we decided to writing in the middle of our little breaks.
So I'll
Anyway,
figure out a better way to record eventually. But
as our
this is a podcast that's on a budget, so
she's in
so
college, I have two jobs.
and we don't have our Spotify ambassadorship anymore, so we don't make any money. So please listen to the podcast. Like, you share it with your friends, share with everybody you know, please.
Please. All right. Anyway, as I was saying, uh,
What am I doing?
the
Oh,
MC, like, so Cliff goes to the Kit Kat Club. My
Kit
God,
Kat Club.
it's so hard. It should not be as hard to say as it
You have
is.
to like really try to be like,
Kit Kat Club. I gotta remember it's a candy.
Kit Kat
Kat Club.
Club.
Um, and the MC Cliff visits, and the MC goes up to the front, and he introduces Sally for her first number. And Tan reminded me before I went to go see this that Sally is English, which I forgot about.
Hmm.
Meaning,
Hmm.
somebody gets to show off their accent work. Also, not only did Ainsley use a British accent, there was multiple times during the show where she would have to slip into another one and then quickly slip back in to the British accent. So she would have to do a Southern accent at one point, an American accent that was like different than her usual speaking voice, and then quickly go back to speaking as Sally. It was so good.
Hmm. I'd
Is
like forgotten to tell you the whole part, but then that
awesome.
was like,
I
yeah, I
was
forgot to tell you about that.
had an idea in my head of what their accent was going to be, and it was not what I got, but what I got was so good. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't know what like area of England it is. If I
Hmm.
had to describe it, it was like a classy British lady with like a hint of sass.
Hmm.
But like it was chef's kiss. It was so good. You could tell that it was a British accent.
Hmm.
Um, and then the MC goes on and says his usual thing about Sally, and he says, if I give you to her, oh my God, if I give her to you, you have to give her back
That's
when you
like the
finish.
club rule.
You have to give her back when you finish. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, um, that's a fun rule. But it's literally like he's like full on being like, no, Sally's going to go with somebody, but you have to give her back. Okay. And then so then you never said who your Sally was played by
Mm.
before I go into titles.
Mm. Uh, Crystal Kellogg. It
Cool.
says she's been Broadway or national tours of School of Rock, Finding Neverland, Kinky Boots, The Pajama Game.
Ooh, all good shows.
She's also on Off Broadway. She's been in Clone the Musical, Wonderland, Little Shop,
Oh,
Because of Winn-Dixie, Beauty and the Beast, South Pacific.
we
She's
love
also been on TV on Person of Interest in the Looming Tower.
awesome. So both of our
Yeah,
Sally's TV
yeah.
credits.
Like at the beginning, she wears a blonde wig, and then she like takes it off later.
Um, for me, for ours. So anyway, we didn't. Yeah. So Sally, this is Sally's first song of the show, and it's called "Don't Tell Mama."
which is one of my favorites. I
It is
love
so
singing.
good. Um, I feel like this was one of the songs where Ainsley's British accent was the most prevalent, and it's a lot of like joking, like scoffs,
Yeah,
like
because it'll
a
be
few
like, wait, hold
laughter,
because if
because
you like
oh
pay
my
attention to the
god.
words, you're like, so do you think it's like a fun little song? You like read the words and
And
you're
then
like,
you listen
oh,
to the words and you're like,
oh no, that's not good.
all right, let me see if I can pull up the picture of the dress that Ainsley wears in this
Yeah,
song.
because
Oh, I have it.
yeah, because like this part of the show, like
This is
the Kit
like
Kat Club and Ainsley kind of like not Ainsley, Kit Kat Club and I said Ainsley, I meant to say Sally. Kind of like because it's like don't tell mom that you're like, it's
working at a really seedy club.
yeah. So like they wear these like little cute little puffy. Ours have on these like little puffy like jackets and they have like big bows on. They wear these like really big bows on their heads, kind of this like kid like fashion of a
Trying to find one.
don't tell mama because
I'm
you're like
trying to
don't
find
tell
one that
mom.
I can put on the internet and they're not gonna cancel us.
Yeah, because it's like at first they're like covered up wearing these little like churchy girl dresses, kind of that kind of feel, and then it's like
Ours
don't.
wasn't. They immediately went into here's all the really pretty short dresses.
They kept the act the part of the song they kind of like wore a lot of it covered for a little bit of it and then took them off.
All right, here's the best one I'm gonna get. I think.
Do I have to give you permission to screen record share again? I probably do. Hold on.
Yeah. Wait, let me see if I have a
Okay.
picture on my phone before you do
Now you
so.
can share. You can share now. I just
I
have to
know,
turn it
I
back off.
probably have a better picture on my phone. Yep, I knew I had a better picture on my phone. And of course, I just lost it again. Where'd it go? So that is the dress that
Yeah.
Ainsley was wearing during Don't Tell Mama. It was so pretty. And
Yeah,
it was
it's such
like
a
really shimmery and like flapper-esque. Um, and so literally it's literally like my parents don't know I'm working here, and I'm like,
yeah.
um, this is the first of two songs in the show that did give me um Jet vibes. Although like Ainsley and God, Sally and Jet are two completely different characters. This is one that gave me Jet vibes because of all of the times that Jet has mentioned their BDSM.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this song basically is it. And so it starts with um the MC introduction. I give you, and don't forget to give her back when you're finished with her, the toast of Mayfair, Fraulein Sally Bowles. And then we start, and it starts with like Ainsley like in a chair, just talking to the other
Mm,
cabaret girls. I, I said Ainsley again, I meant Sally.
exactly. It's like I'm trying
It's so
to.
interchangeable at this
We
point
say
because I'm
Ainsley
talking
so
about
much.
this.
Yeah, we say Ainsley so much in our vocabulary that
We've been talking
that's
about this
probably
for the entire
talking about
time
Ainsley for like
going on.
weeks.
We're going to end up saying both. So Sally is in a chair in that dress, talking to the other cabaret girls. And literally the first line is Mama thinks I'm living in a convent, a
No,
secluded
like
little convent
in
in the southern
France,
part of France.
like
Oh,
like oh,
this is like the scene where like this is the first like scene like where you see like Sally's more like sexy risque side.
mhm.
I can say that Ainsley swung her leg in front of me. Um
Yeah,
and then hold on, where is the other
that's a
there
very risque show.
um
Or like
it
you have to
is, but it
you're not
was
prepared.
so much
You have
fun.
to.
Where's
It's
the
so fun.
all right, let me see if I can pull this
But
one up.
this is your like bisexual awakening for people who like if you go
It
see this
was
show, it
very
will
much
be
so. All right,
you'll
hold
be like
on. Did you give me permission to screen record so I can throw this
yes,
one?
Screen share, yes. Like you'll be like, oh my god.
We're gonna do this. Hopefully it's working. Come on. Nope.
Oh my god. That's hard.
Is
Does
it
it work?
working?
Hold on.
Is it
How did I
working?
fix Did I fix it? Who can share?
I didn't click the share button.
I was like, it says all participant. There you go.
So that this is one of the things
Yeah.
that happened during this number. And I saw
Yeah.
it in the picture beforehand and I was like,
Yes.
but I have to tell you how many times I was trying to keep myself calm because I was in the second row and I was 99%
Right.
like could see me and I was like, I cannot have a breakdown
Mm-hmm.
but they all looked so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So okay, so then we're gonna get to the like the next line that shocked me was don't mama doesn't even have an inkling that I'm working in a nightclub in a pair of lacy pants and I'm like, okay, what is this song? Um it says, so please, sir, if you run into my mama, don't reveal my indiscretion. Give a working girl a chance. And then it's like, a lot of like twirls and
Mm-hmm.
nice, like the little sexy dance moves and everything. And then we get to the line in the middle of the song where, so the entire time I'm like thinking of like Jet because like it's
Mm-hmm.
giving like Jet and the BDSM marquee
Yeah.
manor vibes.
Yeah. You guys don't remember where this is brought up in what episode? It's season 2. It's like the halfway point in season
Yeah,
2.
it's
It's the end of the Wheatley
it's
arc.
Wheatley is just Taylor. It was that episode.
Yeah, as Wheatley is
And,
the stable. I was like, I forgot they had those weird titles. And I'm like, oh man, what
and
a time.
so like I'm just listening to the song with that in my head and I'm watching Ainsley and then this line comes up and I was like, please do not give me any actual connections to Jet because I don't need any fic ideas. I really don't. Um and also just this line itself, it's like, holy crap,
Oh,
what has this girl gone through? And we're gonna say it, and I might get canceled, but I gotta say it because it's literally a lyric from the show. Where is it? Oh, and then the way that Ainsley sung it is they do this is when they had like more like guffaw Guffaw. I don't know how to say that word, but I think I'm
good
saying it
for them, I
in
think.
their accent, where they're playing it off as like a joking scoff,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
the line is, "You can tell my papa that's all right, because he comes in here every night."
It was like, oh,
And
ooh,
I literally was like, "Oh God, no, take it back. I don't want to think about Jet during this song anymore." Because if you don't remember, in season 3, Jet said that she has not talked to her dad in 4 years.
mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, there was that. And so the line goes as, "You can tell my papa that's all right, because he comes in here every night, but don't tell mama what you saw." And I'm sitting in my seat like,
Like, oh,
what? What? Okay. And then the last line, I loved this one just because. Um, if you see my mummy, mum's the word, and it ends with like Ainsley in the
yeah,
seat, like her finger covering her mouth. And I was like, well, then that's definitely like it like shows that like Sally is very much like a showgirl, and like it is a very risque, raunchy, but fun song. So then after that, because Sally's just done her number, like Cliff goes over to talk to her. They
mm-hmm.
talk for a bit. Then Sally goes to her dressing room to
Mm-hmm.
get ready for her next number. And um we find out that Sally is seeing the owner of the club. Um, his name is Max. And my Max was playing let's see if I can find it. Here is it. Oh, here we go. Because this guy played multiple roles. Oh, okay. I am probably gonna say this name wrong. I apologize. So to show the picture. Where is it? Yep, Max. So this guy was my Max.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Roggy. I apologize. I'm not gonna try to say his last name because I know I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
butcher it so bad, and I don't want to do that to him because he was great. Anyway, he starts having a conversation with Sally, but then it turns into not a conversation because their relationship ain't a good relationship. He grabs Sally by the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm seeing it as Ainsley, I'm like how I literally every single time Sally got grabbed, I'm pretty sure I like jumped a little bit because I was like, no, no, don't hurt her, baby. Please
Mm-hmm.
don't. And then Sally always plays it off with like a joke or
Mm-hmm.
a little flirting or everything. I think there was only one time when he grabbed her, but like near the shoulder when you could
Mm-hmm.
see her stop a bit, but then plays it off again as a joke. Um, and then they have these old-fashioned telephones that like you pick it up and you hold the
Mm-hmm.
base, you put the piece on your ear.
Mm-hmm.
So the phone rings for Sally and it's Cliff and they have a conversation. And she finds out like that he's American and she's getting like so excited about it and she wants to hear like him say things in his American accent. So she asked him to read poetry. I have no idea why this is the first poem he decides to. Oh, because Sally like says, "Oh, you're a novelist. Can you read me like poetry?" That kind of connection. And he decides to recite the tragic poem Casey at the Bat. Why that is his first thought, I have no idea. Um, so he reads the poem and Sally starts to make noises.
Yeah. You can use your context clues, everyone, okay? You can't say it the way it
Context
is.
clues, because I'm not saying it out loud.
Use your context clues,
Uh,
everyone, okay? Sometimes that's hard for us, but we're trying to tell you.
I'll give you a bit more context because I was watching the scene. Making noises and sinking in her chair.
Very okay, you can figure it out. That's as far as we're going. If you don't know,
One of the times where I was like, this is the
oh,
downside to seeing your idols on
wow.
stage. Because I did not know this happened in the show at all.
I think I forgot about that
So
part.
I
I
was
think I
sitting in
remember
the
it.
audience, like, in disbelief. But the crowd was going crazy. Everyone was like laughing or like making noises of like, oh my God. And yeah, so did not see that coming. And so I can say that I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Use your imagination, you'll figure it out. And then Cliff offers to escort Sally home, but she says that her boyfriend is jealous. And yeah. So then we get another scene, and then Sally performs what we find out is her final number at
At
the
the gay
Karaoke
club.
Club because this is apparently her last night, and it's her final
Yeah.
number. And it's called Mine Hair, which in English means Give me a second. Sir, in English. Um, and it starts, and I know they have a picture of it, so I can do this again. I just have to find it. Um, see if I can find it. I have so many pictures today. I'm like, where are they?
Mm.
Oh, I found a picture of the beginning of um the beginning of Don't Tell Mama, but that's not what I'm looking for. No, where is it? All right. Can you start describing the song while I'm looking for this photo? Oh, wait, found it. All right. And I only bring it up because I thought it was a really interesting staging. Because like this
Mm.
stage was like reasonably it was a decent sized stage, but they all decided to do it on like the right hand corner, and it
Mhm.
starts with Ainsley on top of a chair with the
Yeah.
entire ensemble surrounding her as she sings this song. Um,
Yeah, ours was, like, in the middle of the stage that I can remember anyway.
and there I have to see if they have another picture of it, or if I'll just have to find it from my reels because there's a few different things that happen in this song that were like jaw dropping. So here's the first one. And I don't know what was happening with my brain that day, or if I just don't remember this happening, because I only remember the first part of this video. So whether or not it was one of the times where I decided to look back at my mom and see what her reaction was to everything, or if I was looking down at my playbill and it was like a split second thing. But I also feel like once you see it, you'll get it. But I also feel like if this happened, like the cast would make it, like the audience would make a reaction that would cause me to like look back and
Mhm.
so this was it. So oh god, no, we lost it. So
Oh.
we're gonna so again, the first part I remember. Ainsley's
Oh,
head
yeah,
was
you showed me
in
the
front of me, and then she gets thrown. I don't remember the throw. So like Ainsley, if you're listening, can you let me know if the throw is in every single performance or if I'm just totally misremembering, because thank God I have the video that there's the video of it because I don't
Mhm.
remember. I must have been too dazed by the fact that her head was like her head got her that they got spun around and their head got spun around to remember that they were getting thrown. But I also feel like I would remember um Ainsley getting thrown in front of me. So also the fact that like that's the it's a hard thing to do and they make it look
Mhm.
like throwing her. And then in that same scene, and then this might be why I don't remember it because I only remember her head, like her body getting like dipped in front of me and her head like 2 feet.
Mhm.
The other thing that was in this number, and I need to find it because this part I specifically remember because I was really close, and I gotta see if I can find it. I'll start with this though, because this was
Mhm.
part like this is one I remember it because Ainsley did that movement when she did an opt up on one of the mine hairs, and I didn't know that they could do an opt up like that with their voice, so I was like, oh my god. Oh wait, it's coming up. Here we go. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Mhm.
Ainsley getting
Yeah.
carried across the stage in front of me. So I don't know if both were there and I just missed it or what, but I will say at least I remember one of them and not none. So mine hair, that was such its such a good song. Also, the fact that like I know now that Ainsley can speak German, kind of, sorta, cool.
Mhm.
Um, shoot, I lost the thing. All right, so they do my hair, and then the cabaret does like I don't think my production had this part, so I'm gonna skip that part. I don't know if just had this either. They did like an a little. Let's see. I'll find out if mine had it. No, it didn't because it's not in the playbill. Um, so mine hair, the end of the club. Um, and then I think they just transitioned to the next day. Um,
Mhm.
and the next day at the boarding house, Cliff has finished giving an English lesson to Ernst, which is
Yeah.
how he's paying, how he's
Yeah.
getting to pay for the thing when
To
Sally.
afford to live in Germany.
When I tell you this moment, like set in stone, that Ainsley can play a character that is so different than Chet. Like
Mhm.
I literally
For
had
like
it.
the
I was
range.
literally beaming. And I'll get a picture of it afterwards. But
Mhm.
Ainsley enters, Sally enters the apartment with a
Mhm.
fur coat on,
Yeah, the fur coat. It's the fur
purse
coat.
in hand, pair of heels on, and a huge smile on her face. And I was like,
Mm.
oh my God.
Hello.
All right, let's see if I can find it.
This the fur coat.
I'm
The
gonna
fur
have to
coat.
do a
The
video.
fur coat is important
Yeah, the fur
later.
coat is Sally's thing. All right. Unfortunately, the only thing I'm able to find of the fur coat is a video, unless let's see, check if my reel that I have has a picture of the fur coat. No, it has a picture of the other outfit I need from Ainsley though for later. Good. All right. Where'd the link go? How are we doing on time?
Mm,
What's it say?
20 or 28 minutes.
All right. So here is a video from their rehearsal things, and there is the fur coat.
Hmm.
It is nearly as big as Ainsley, but that's
Yeah,
a
in our production, she had like a long fur coat.
it's literally supposed to like cover her. Like
Hmm.
that's the entire point of the fur coat.
Hmm.
Um that is like her item. Like period, end of story. That is her item. Um and I don't remember every single thing in this scene, but I do remember is Sally has a hangover cure.
Hmm.
This is probably one of the scenes where everybody in my audience was cracking up.
And I was like, oh my God. When I saw it in my show, I was like, that tastes, how do you put that in your body? Because I'm
Ainsley
like, that's
goes
a,
over to like this. Sally goes over.
she pulls out her little bag.
She pulls out stuff out of her back. Like
She doesn't have a cup. She's like, do you have a cup?
yeah,
And
she's looking
then
for a cup. And
to
he's like,
take out her little stuff,
he
her
goes,
little
oh,
bag.
hold on, I have to find this picture because I have
She
to
doesn't have a cup. So she's like, oh, here's one.
hold on,
But
I
she
have
says about this cup that she realizes in a
to
moment.
I'll answer it after. I have to find the picture of let's see. There it is. The little table that
Hmm.
she was standing at. Um, I'll have to show that again later because that scene is important. Um,
Hmm.
I now that I know what it is. So it's this little table that she's standing at earlier. Um, and
Hmm.
she pulls out her purse and she's looking at like all the alcohol all around and she's moving things around. She opens up her little black purse and pulls out 3 hard-boiled eggs and a bottle of Worcestershire
I
sauce.
was like, ugh. I mean, like, it's like a like I can't do like I have to eat. Okay, so like I have to think about eggs. I can only eat them scrambled. I cannot eat them any other way. It's a sensory thing.
And here we go. Sally is pulling out a
So
raw
I was like,
egg from her
raw.
purse
She's just. I was like, oh my God,
because she's like, oh yeah, like she's mentioning like the chick
a
June and
hangover cure.
I hate over here. And I don't know how Crystal did it for you, but the way what Ainsley did it, literally doing it like so nonchalantly, like she's
Yeah,
literally
she does it
here.
like she's like, mixing her little
Oh,
stuff up as she's talking, and you're like,
normal thing, normal conversation explaining what it is. And I'm
this
literally
bottoms
watching
up.
this guy, like Cliff is watching it, like what is happening. My audience is cracking up
You know, it's
because
like, put that
they're
in.
talking while this is happening. And all of a sudden she drinks it
She
and
just downs it bottoms up, and you're like,
yeah, literally. And she's like, how does
and
it
he's
taste?
like,
And she's
like
like,
this. He's like,
it tastes
tastes a little.
minty. It's minty. And he's
He's like,
like,
this is my
yeah,
toothbrush cup.
that's my toothbrush cup. And you
Like,
can see her like look at the cup,
you're
be
like,
like, oh,
oh.
okay.
Moves
Um,
on. She's moved on from that really quick.
well, we find out that the reason why that last night was Sally's last performance is because Max fired her and now she has nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm. Or
No,
like, I was like,
wait, what? um, and then so she's like she's trying to
for some assistance and somewhere to
ask
live.
Cliff like to let her stay with him. And Cliff is like, "No, I cannot have you stay with me. No, like it's not gonna work." And Sally's like, "Why not? It would work out so well." And then they got their song. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny how like they're like the main couple in the show, and they only have one
Mm.
song.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But and then I gotta find the lyrics because it was important. And
It's
Ainsley's version of it
it's
was just
called.
it's the song itself is catchy. It's called Perfectly Marvelous. And
Mm-hmm.
Ainsley's was just super cute. And at the one point, there's one point where she stands on a desk while she's singing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be undone, apparently. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes on, and I love this, and it's very much like a thing. And it says, I think people are people. I really do, Cliff. Don't you? I don't think people should have to explain anything. For example, if I should paint my fingernails green, oh, and it just so happens I do paint them green, and she shows him her green
Mm-hmm.
fingernails. And she says, well, if anyone should ask me why, I say, I think it's pretty. And I'm just gonna pause and give context. So I am very big on like when I go see a show, I theme my outfits. So of course
Mm-hmm.
I went to go see Ainsley. I wore my jet shirt. And I painted my nails black because I had only seen one or two pictures of Ainsley and I
Yeah,
saw
and I forgot to tell you this before I like went.
and from the pictures that I saw, it looked black. So I painted my nails black. Well, then the day of the show, and I find out her nails aren't black, they're actually dark green. And I was like, oh. And then my mom tells me after that she knew they were dark green. And Taryn tells me that she knew they were dark green, and they didn't. My mom didn't tell me specifically
I
because
don't remember details until they
she
happen
knew
because
I
I
was
kind of
gonna
remember.
change it. Here's my thing. It's not like I was gonna have to go out and buy it. I
You're
have
like, oh no.
the exact color, or very close to the exact green color that Sally had. And I wore it, and I was like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Um, I only bring it up because and this was very close to the color that Ainsley had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this brand itself is wicked. So again, dark green nail polish. Again, continuing the connection that my dream role for Ainsley to play is Alphaba. So
Mm-hmm. We
dark
talk about
green
this all the
nails.
time.
We're gonna. It's going to it. Wait, what did you say before that?
So we talk about this all the time.
I do. Because the one, like again, my one of my very favorite shows, my special interest is Wicked. Um. Okay. Anyway, and she is telling anyway, back to the show. Sally is telling Cliff that she can tell people that he's met this perfectly
Yeah.
marvelous girl.
Yeah, he's like, you could tell her. You could tell people like you met. It's
This
something like
perfectly marvelous girl.
we met in sin,
Perfectly
doing something in
wonderful
sin,
Cliff.
or you could say
Delicious sin is what
malicious sin,
delicious.
or
Delicious.
oh yeah, it's delicious. Yeah, or you could say
The truth
you
and
met
say,
a perfectly marvelous.
marvelous girl. And the song is so catchy. And Ainsley
It
sung
is.
it with, like such a cheery tone in her voice. It was so cute and so much fun. And then there's this line in the middle of the show, in the song where I just thought it made me think of Jet and Ainsley. I don't know why, it just did. And it says, and Cliff says, Sally, I'm afraid this wouldn't work out. You're much too distracting. And the first part, Ainsley says it in like a joking disbelief. She's like, distracting.
Hmm.
That's as good as you're gonna get. I'm not Ainsley.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she says no, pauses, and you could see like this look of like wonder fill her face. And she continues and says, inspiring.
It was like,
I was like, yep, that is such
hmm.
like it just I don't know why it made me think of Jet and Ainsley, but it did. But it was such a good line.
I still think we would think we read a lot of like Jalakai, and there's a certain like way we do it, and it fits their dynamic.
I'm
You wrote
trying
a fic.
yeah.
If I remember to link it in the description, I'll put it in there. If I don't, we're on AO3, so I can look some.
See if I can
But
find the picture I have of Ainsley standing on a desk because I know
it's
it's a
3 minutes on the Zoom,
I'll
so
find it later. Anyway,
it's
um,
3 minutes on the Zoom.
okay. Um, and
My
then so
mother's calling.
Sally
Keep talking.
continues, and eventually Cliff gives in, and he's like, "Okay, yep." No, actually, but the point is that he's like, "I can't afford it." Um, and she's like, "Do you have any money?" And he's like, "A
Keep
few
talking.
months,
I'll be right back.
6." And then says, "Oh God," but then continue like, "Oh no." So Cliff says, "Sally, I can't afford it. Do you have any money?" And says like, "Yeah, a few marks, 6." And Cliff is like, "Cliff, just for a day or two, please." And then Cliff thinks about it, and then he continues this on and says, "I met this truly remarkable girl in this really incredible town, and she skillfully managed to talk her way into my room." And then literally, this is like the contrast again, because this is one of the times where Ainsley legit squeals. Jet would never squeal like that. And then she goes on, she's like, "Oh, Cliff." So we know that, Cliff is letting Sally stay with him now. Cool. But it's also just really cute to see, like, Sally happy. Um, I don't know the age difference, but, the fact that, I know that Sally was 19, like, okay. All right, let me see if I can. All right, well, Taryn has got away because it's gonna end soon, and I'll wait till the next one before I get to the next number. Um, I'm gonna see if I can figure out how old this guy was when he met the cabaret singer. Doo, doo, doo. I'll explain why my face just dropped. later because I
Okay,
just.
I'm back. No Zoom is about to.
All right, I think we should just end it because I'm still trying to find the
Yeah,
information.
you gotta wait 10 minutes, so we'll
We'll
be
be
back in
back
10
to
minutes.
talk about the next number afterwards. So, all right, guys, we're back and we're going to talk about the
Quick
rest of
detour.
Cabaret in a second. But we got to take a quick detour because while we were waiting, um, um, something about the strike came up, and in regards to the shows that we all know and love and watch. If you are not aware of what's going on, the SAG-AFTRA strike is happening. The writer's strike is happening because both writers and actors are going out and saying that the companies that they work for are not paying them. Like sometimes not even all, but basically not
Livable wages.
full wages. And just to put it into perspective of the shows that we watch, um, Danielle has been very upfront about it. And something that they literally just put on their Instagram story put everything into perspective. I won't go into full detail as this is you can
Go
go
watch
on,
it yourselves.
but it also is, Danielle's personal stuff. It's not us our
Mm-hmm.
story thing. But she was showing checks that she got from SAG and the amount of money that they gave her. And she basically said that it cost them more money to send her these checks than the amount of money she was getting in the check. And then she showed one for a criminally low price
Mm-hmm.
from her birthday in 2023. So that is when she is working on organized crime.
Mm-hmm.
What the actual fuck? This woman is a lead on a primetime
Yeah.
television special primetime television show that airs every single week. I hate to even think what this means for the other cast members on the show.
Mm. I'm
And
like, oh.
I am literally like shaking because it's just sick.
Yeah. And the fact that like organized crime was already like on its last leg. Not
Yeah,
like it's the fault of the actors, but it was on its last leg,
it's honestly,
metaphorically.
but it's also the fact that it had been running for 3 seasons
Yeah.
and she's still getting this amount. This woman is a mother to two
Yeah.
boys. What the actual fuck?
And we're like, this is not livable wages.
Like, I don't know, like, what the other cast members, like, how this is affecting them. Like, because what
Hmm.
you know is that A, one of them is my age, but we
Yeah.
don't know their living situation. B, one of them is in his 40s, but he has a wife and kids. The
Hmm.
other one, well, isn't on the show anymore, so that doesn't apply. And then, of course, one who has been doing this for 20 plus years, but all that.
Hmm.
Do not know how this affects the rest of the cast, but knowing that, what the actual fuck?
Hmm.
I hope you guys know me well enough that I don't swear unless I am really upset or passionate about something.
Hmm.
No, no. Oh, and also the fact that Organized Crime is only supposed to get 13 episodes this season.
Yeah. They will make it start in January and go to May, like the second half. If you guys want to know time wise.
Like a part of me
Because
is,
usually 9 in the fall, 13 in the spring. It's usually how it like goes.
but no, it's just 13 total. And a part of me is like, Danielle's really happy about that because she gets to have time to spend with her kids.
But
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 she's
no
having
no
13
way.
episodes where she's getting paid this crap amount of money.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's not like a livable wage. Like I'll remember to put the information about the writer's strike in the description. Remind me to do it because I'll forget.
And I will say that Danielle is not the only
So
one.
you guys can read it. So you guys can read about the writer's strike and
I
support the
will
writers.
say Danielle is not the only one that is speaking out on this.
Yeah,
Rick is speaking out. Danny Pino is speaking out. Allison
a
is
lot. Yeah,
Allison and Danny are Allison Psycho and Danny are at the strikes. Caitlin's speaking
currently.
out.
Mariska was at the strikes
Rishka is
when
at the strike. Warren Light is talking about it.
he's one of the like captains, so like he's like out there a lot.
Yeah, like they're doing this because it's that important.
Mhm.
And Warren went on to say the other day that like usually by now they would be nearly done filming
Filming
the
because
second episode,
Ice made a tweet the other day being like, "This is when we normally start filming."
but now we're not.
Mhm.
Warren went on to say that like basically a lot of these shows are not gonna a lot of these companies are not going to have their full shows.
Yeah,
And I like before I saw Danielle saying like obviously I like knew it was bad, but like I still had a part of me that was like, oh, I'm really gonna hate that we're not gonna have these shows. Forget that. Give these people what they deserve for the incredible talent that they are putting out on our screens.
hmm
Okay.
I'll remember to put stuff in the description about the writer's strike, so you can read about it and support the writer's strike.
All right. End of detour. Now
hmm
that we get all that out, we'll probably end up talking more about it after
hmm
because I do have a point to make after, but it's not gonna I have to wait. Um Back to Cabaret.
hmm
So Sally and Cliff are living together.
hmm
Oh, all right. And I did some research to like see how old the guy was when he met the woman who is Sally is inspired by. And if I'm doing my math correct, he was 25 and she was 19.
hmm
And it's 6 years apart.
hmm
I mean, yeah, it could be worse, but that's not good either.
hmm
All right. And then we get the next like scene back in the Kit Kat. God,
I don't know why it's so hard to say
Kit
Kit Kat
Kat
Club.
Club. It's because mixed. I'm getting mixed up with the club and Rent. It's called
Mhm.
the.
I forgot. I recently watched it.
I'll look it up because I know that's why I'm getting. That's why I'm getting tongue tied. Anyway, they're singing this song that's called Two Ladies. So it's the MC talking about these two
You
ladies
can
and
have two ladies if you
fun
want.
to have two ladies.
You're
This is
interested in me.
one of the more risque numbers in the show, but
Yeah, 'cause
also
you're like,
this
oh,
ensemble is flexible.
it is. I was like, oh my.
Like literally they're all spinning around. At one point there's one woman who her head is down, her legs are open, and the MC is holding her by the waist. I
Mhm.
was like,
It's a
oh my
wild one.
God. Oh, and then one point where they go under his legs, and one of them is on top, and one of them is on the bottom. I'm like, how? How is your body that flexible?
And I was like, oh.
Like, good for them. Here, let me see if I can find the thing that I'm looking for. It's okay. Look, I don't know what it's called. It's either Clink Club or CLIT Club. I don't know, but
I don't know. We'll figure
the
it out.
lesbian club. We're going with that. Anyway, that's why my brain keeps
hmm
stuttering on cat because I'm getting it mixed up with the Rent one. Um, all right. After two ladies. We meet, um, oh, oh, it literally, the song, I forgot this part. The song literally talks about Cliff and Sally's living arrangement, which
Oh,
is just,
we forgot to talk about New Year's Eve. Forgot that part. That was the
oh
important part. I was
yeah,
like,
before that, because that's what
I
one of the
remembered.
things that they were talking about during the living arrangement when they're trying to figure out living arrangements. So the last night that Sally formed happened to be New Year's Eve, which honestly is fitting and super cool. Um, but right before Sally goes to perform my hair, the two of the Kit Kat Club boys go to talk to um Cliff,
Mm-hmm.
and he kisses one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He kisses and I remember his name is Bobby. He kisses
He's
Bobby.
Bobby's talked about a lot.
And he's talked about a lot. And so when
He was
Sally
like,
goes to talk to him the
he was
next
like,
day,
we've met before.
when
She
he,
tells him about like, how you know?
that she literally says that Bobby told her that they had met at a bar
In
and that
London
they
or something
met
like that.
before and that they kissed. And there are so many ways that the Sallys can say this line. Because this is kind of how it's brought up to like that she's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm gonna live with you now because like I know this and now just to I don't know if you are or not. She literally the way that Ainsley did it, she does it as like such like a genuine thing. Like she didn't mean like any judgment by it.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yeah,
looks at Cliff and goes, "Are you a homosexual?"
I know it's like, very, very like funny, but not at the same time. So she's
Yeah,
genuinely
so it's like
asking,
a
but
lot
like,
of the times, like it can be played off as funny, but the way that Ainsley did it, it was like a genuine question.
yeah, it's
She
like
meant it
funny.
genuinely, no judgment.
Like no judgment if you are, but like, you know,
Yeah.
because she's like, is that not why you don't want to live with you? Like, you
Yes,
know.
and oh, you want me to live with you because you're homosexual, and then they have he's like, no, I'm not,
Mhm.
but you know, he just kissed a boy, but he's not
More than
homosexual.
once.
Um. Anyway, so I think yeah. So then after that scene, that's when we get Perfectly Marvelous, and
Mhm.
then Two Ladies. Yeah. So we almost forgot about that. That's an important part. Um. The next song that we get is we meet Herscheltz, who is an
Mhm.
elderly Jewish fruit shop owner who lives in the boarding house. And he has a little crush on Fraulein Schneider. Fraulein, Fraulein Schneider. And when I
Mhm.
say that, like, elderly people in love is so cute to me. Like,
Yeah.
literally, everybody was
Y'all
like,
know. Y'all
oh.
know this is art. Not like I mean like people past like 50 years like are like thing that makes our like hearts a little pitter patter a little sweeter.
And so they have this song, like their first little romantic song.
Yeah.
He gives her a
A
pineapple
pineapple.
as a romantic gesture.
And
And
if you
it's
don't know what a
cute.
pineapple represents, the pineapple has a representation. Because people in I just knew what it meant and they were like, pineapple
I
has
don't know
meaning.
what it means. You're gonna have to tell me.
Okay, so I don't think I had a phrase without getting this like deep onto it. So like a
Text it to
pineapple,
me if you have to. If I
okay,
say it online, then
a
I'll.
pineapple, okay, there's a pineapple. If you have a pineapple before you know do the sheet tango, it makes your sweeter, sweeter per se.
Does it have something to do with the peach schnapps that he keeps drinking?
Hmm. People in my audience were laughing so hard when he pulls out the
Yeah,
pineapple. People like,
I think that's why people in my audience are cracking up too, but I didn't get it. If my brain is
I'll
interpreting
text it to you to like make sure you understand what I'm saying.
my brain is
But
interpreting it correctly, then
yeah,
I just thought it was sweet because he was a fruit seller. I didn't know anything behind it.
It does. One of them.
No. All right, did you send it?
Hold on. I gotta make sure I mm, like uh it also talks about the nice thing about it is it says a warm welcome and a celebration of hospitality. However, swingers use this fruit so people know that they are welcome to do it.
Oh my God, it
And
was
then
yes. Wait, so by giving her the pineapple, he was saying he wanted to with her?
yeah,
Oh, yep, now I remember because after that they literally
because either they're like, oh yeah, and they go,
Oh yeah, now I remember because after that they literally go to her room.
mm,
She literally like goes to her room and then she comes
yeah, and they come back later
the
like, oh,
doorway and
you
it's
know what they
like,
were doing.
yep, now nope, now I remember. Okay. Um oh, because another like thing like subplot in their little storyline is
Mm.
there's this tenant. Her name is Fraulein Cost and she works
I
at the
made
club.
it pretty obvious if I text to you, you're like, oh, I gotta know.
Yep, that is what I was thinking.
Okay, then making sure you understood and why people were laughing.
God, this show is
It's like a lot of like little
God,
things. I'm like,
this show. Okay.
okay,
Anyway, there's this little subplot in the Fräulein Schneider and Herr Schultz subplot with Fräulein Kost, who works at the Kit Kat Club and brings like sailors home.
she brings sailors. She brings sailors. I mean,
And
some of your sailors.
Fräulein Schneider is
And
like tired of it. And she basically is like, look, you can do it, but I don't want to catch you doing it.
she's like,
Because
I got you, I got you. They have a fight about it. She's like, no, I got you, I got you. Like, I understand. Like, you don't want to get caught.
yeah,
So
so
same
one point,
arrangement.
like the first guy that she kisses, like she kisses a sailor and she turns around and she sees Fräulein Schneider there and she's like, it's my nephew.
So
And then
like
the next
also
guy
like our
comes around and
the
she's
way
like,
our set is,
it's my
and I'll blame
brother.
my Shakespeare. There's like these like and part of the like there's like these stairs that like are kind of like built into the seating kind of so like that was like their enter and exit for some of the parts. So like she's like going down this little hole and you're like, oh
Ours is like it's literally just out in the open. So I will
it's
okay.
a weird like in set of like stairs that go down to the orchestra pit and they kind of use that as part of this set.
Why do we hold on? Did I read in that room? I feel like I don't remember if I'm remembering correctly. I feel like this guy is possibly my Max. Because I remember
Mm,
having a beard, but this is what it was. I
mm,
remember having a beard, but that's who it's credited as. So it's one of these guys. Anyway,
yeah.
this is my Herr Schultz. His name is
Mm,
Fred Frabata. And this that's my frontline cost. And
mm,
her name is May Goulet. And she was Ainsley's understudy. If Ainsley was not able to perform, she would play Sally. As far as I'm aware, I don't think she ever went on as Sally.
mm. I don't
Um,
think so.
that was Sally's
But
understudy.
no.
And it was super cute because there's a picture that they took of the two of them. And the two of them were following them on Instagram. And I was like, that is so cute. They're following the
Mm,
two Sallys are following each other. Oh, I'll see if I can find that picture. Um,
mm,
let's see if there's anything. Oh wow. The I didn't see this before. Fred Verbata, he played Schultz in a tour of Cabaret.
mm,
So this isn't the first time he's played that role. That's so cool.
mm.
He's also been in West Side Story. Um, let's see, and Faye. She played Fritzy and Fräulein Kost. Um, I don't know. Actually, let me phrase that. So Fritzy is one of the girls that works at the club. Fräulein Kost, I think, is just a tenant at the place, but also happens to bring home people. And then she's
Oh,
Ainsley's.
this guy Arthur Schultz was on Law and Order.
Oh, really? What's his name?
His name is Donald Corrin. It says television appearances include nine seasons on NBC's Law and Order.
Hold on. Let me look him up. The name sounds familiar. Spell it for me.
Uh,
Donald, but I just need the last name.
Corren. This is him.
Oh, I think he played. Let's see. I think. Let me see. Because the guy looks familiar. How are we doing on time?
This one we're at 23.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, he was in a whole bunch of
Mm-hmm.
Law episodes. It's cool. Okay. Um, so the next thing that we get, yeah. After the pineapple scene. In the Kit Kat Club, a young waiter, or as they describe it in our thing, the soloist, Bobby, ours played by Jordi Bertrand Ramirez, who was also the understudy for MC, who, yeah, I could definitely see him playing MC. The way he was as Bobby is very much MC-esque. He sings a song called Tomorrow Belongs to Me. Um, and is described as a patriotic anthem to the fatherland that slowly descends into a darker, Nazi-inspired marching song.
Yeah.
Um, our guy, his falsetto, I'm like, how do you sing that high?
We had some,
It
what they
sounds
did
so
was for our
easy.
show, it's for like the little kid voice. They did it as like, he sits down with a record player and like have it play through the speakers as a kid singing it.
We had ours, he stood on like a ladder and had like a cape on, so it looked
Mm-hmm.
like he was short. All right, next. And then this is where we get to the good stuff. Um, I have to go. I'm reading the Wikipedia page to remind me of the plot, but I have to skip some because not everything that was in it's in the Wikipedia page is in the production that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song that Cliff sings, but we didn't get that song.
What is it called? Did I get that one?
It's called Why Should I Wake Up? We didn't have
Oh no,
that.
we didn't have that one either.
So it must have been taken out in more recent versions. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
basically, we move. It says that there's a time jump, and it says months later that Cliff and Sally are still living together, and they've grown intimate.
Mm-hmm.
They have a scene where Sally comes to visit him, and I don't know if this was an intentional costume choice by Ainsley or not, but the dress that she is wearing, and I know there's a picture of it, is a crisscross dress. So half of
Mm-hmm.
dress crisscrosses down and it's purple, and the other half crisscrosses and it's blue. It also matches the blue and purple eyeshadow that she was wearing in the show. Um, and for those of you who are not aware, two of the colors on the bisexual flag are blue and purple.
Mm-hmm.
Ainsley is bisexual. So I don't know if this was an intentional costume choice by them or not, but if it was, love it. If not, screaming by pride anyway and loving
Mm-hmm.
it. All right, let me see if I can find the picture because it was on. Yep, that's the only one I got. So that's the dress. Like you could see the purple
Mm-hmm.
and the blue in the back, and it had like this really a little bit of a flared skirt at the end, so Ainsley could like take it and like twirl it a bit, which Sally did a lot, and it was super cute. So yeah, there's Ainsley and there's Bay. So they got the two Sally's picture. Super cute.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I kept telling to Taryn that like there was this
Mm-hmm.
picture the Virginia Theater Festival posted, and I saw the dress, and I was like, I'm calling it. This is the dress that she wears when she sings the song. I was
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but this the dress does come up later. But like having her wear this dress during this, I love because it was super pretty, and again, screams by pride, even if that wasn't the intent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, next was like we get like the big one of the big revelations of the show because Cliff is like, oh, we should get like celebrate with some alcohol, I believe, and usually Sally is all for it.
And so, not today.
He says no, and Sally reveals that she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Problem is, she doesn't know who the father is.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't know if it's Max's or Cliff's. And keep in mind, the show was written in 1966.
There's no way of finding out, you know.
So the next thing that she says, like, this is written in 1966 and they put it in the show. She says she's going to go to the doctor to get things taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let that sit in your mind for a bit and you'll figure out what it is. And so Cliff tries to remind her that it could be his child and to take time to think about it before she makes this big decision. And then we get probably one of the most well-known songs in Cabaret.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite song in the show. Probably one of the two favorite songs that Ainsley sang.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a popular song, and it is in popular culture everywhere. They sang it in Glee. They sang it in Schitt's Creek.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Nobody's everywhere.
ask somebody to name a song from Cabaret, this
Maybe
is the
this
song
time.
that will probably
I've
give
always
you.
said it. So.
And this song is called Maybe This Time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the second song in the show that has such like it does not like obviously I kept trying to tell myself to like focus on watching it and watching this character.
Mm-hmm.
But of course watching Ainsley and I had some thoughts of Jet in the back of my head. This is the song that even though like Ainsley and all the directors are like there can't be any more different. This is a song that shows that yes, Jet kind of does have some qualities to Sally, but it also is such a freaking beautiful song for Sally. And I'm going to pull up the lyrics now. Where'd they go? I know I pulled them up before. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. And also, yeah, Ainsley sings on this song so beautifully. Like, when I tell you their voice
Mhm,
soared through the auditorium and I was shaking, and I knew I was gonna cry during this song because I knew Ainsley singing it was
mhm,
confusing to me, but I don't think I realized how much. So it starts with Sally is pretty much realizing that she is falling in love with Cliff, but because of everything with Max and Pryor, she doesn't have a great
mhm,
relationship. She has not had a good track track record with boys. And so she starts and she says, maybe this time I'll be lucky. Maybe this time he'll stay. Maybe this time, for the first time, love won't hurry away. And I'm like, okay, this song would make me cry. It did. Because there's multiple ways to sing this song. Actually, no,
mhm,
there's two ways that people that Sally's who have sung this song, who either sung this song. They've either done it as like a sad, pitiful way of I'm never going to find love, or the way that Ainsley did. And I wrote it down to make sure I would get it right. And they did it as a happy, almost longingness for the love, for any kind of love, but this love that they're forming with Cliff. And because I was in the second row and I could see the facial expressions on Ainsley's face, which are their gift. They could tell you a story without even have to say a single word.
I'm sorry. I was playing on my phone. I was listening, and I was like, this quiz results have me weak. I was sending you a screenshot. I was like, I was taking a little quiz on my phone. Sorry, paying attention. I was listening. I swear. I was
Talking
like
about
stimming.
you this
Okay,
time.
my stimming was playing on my phone,
Oh no,
and then
you're
I was like, I'm gonna take a little quiz, and then I was like,
that's fine. So anyway, as I was
I'm
saying,
crying.
because I was in the second row, I could see Ainsley's facial expressions, which are their gift. There's an article that was written before the show
I
that
was
basically said like
crying.
when she's on TV and she's playing Jet, like she can do like a minuta of a facial expression, and that's enough. With Sally, you can't because you need these big, broad facial expressions to portray what this character is feeling. But for this song, this is when Sally gets vulnerable. And Ainsley's little
Mm,
facial expressions are what are needed. Because literally the near the end of the song, all I could see was this small blonde smile on her face, tears in her eyes. So of course I had tears in my eyes, singing just how much she's just how much she thinks that maybe this time is going to be the time that I will
mhm,
and I find love. But of course, so before I move on, I have to read the other key lyrics. Um, this one I didn't realize made me think of Jet until after the show, and yeah, and it so goes. He will hold me fast. I'll be home at last. Not a loser anymore, like the last time and the time before. First off, how many people have hurt Sally?
mhm,
Second, we know that that many people have possibly hurt Jet because of when she was with because of when we had scenes with her and Malachi in the show. And we
I'm
had
sorry, I
episodes where
was
they were not
weird.
talking and they were having miscommunication. And she literally went up to his doorstep with a pair of shoes in his hands and said, sorry, I was weird.
I'm sorry, I was weird.
Like, if that doesn't correlate with not a loser anymore, like the last time and the time before, like I don't know what does. And so the song starts off like slow, like, but as it continues,
It builds, and I'm like,
builds
oh,
as Sally realizes that maybe she can finally get the love that she wants and deserves. Um, and it goes and says, all the odds are there in my favor. Something's bound to begin. It's gotta happen sometime. Maybe this time I'll win. And continues and says, because everybody, they love a winner. So nobody loved me. Pause!
Mm. Yes, sir.
Nobody loved her? Break my heart, why don't you? Lady peaceful, lady happy. That's what
Mhm.
I long to be. And then it continues and it says, all the odds are in my favor. Something's bound to begin. And that's when Ainsley's voice, like, that's when Ainsley like had her big belt
Mm.
note.
Yeah, our
Like,
singer did too. I was like,
and I was like, oh my God, my heart, like, that's when I started having most of my tears because I was in awe. Um,
I
and
know.
and so after that is when it starts getting soft because you see Sally look at Cliff who's asleep on the bed, and she slowly walks over to him and she sends the end of the song. And I did not know that Ainsley had such a high octave, but they do. I mean, it makes sense. According to her Wikipedia page, it says that her mom is an opera singer and a vocal coach. So that could possibly be where she gets it from. But I've never heard from all the clips that we have online
Mhm.
and everything, never heard Ainsley sing in such a high octave. It was beautiful. And so Sally ends the song and she goes, and I'm not gonna try to do it as high, but it's
Mm.
basically maybe this time, maybe this time I'll win. And the song ends, and it's like it literally goes into an extremely high octave as
Mhm.
Sally is just dreaming about this love. Um, and so many of the ensemble members who had did Instagram takeovers in the process of the show getting ready. So many people had asked them what was their favorite song or what song did they look most forward to in the show. And nearly all of them said Ainsley's Maybe This Time. And rightfully so, because oh my God, I'm never going to forget it.
Okay.
It was that good. Um, so yeah, that's Sally's like first like big song. Well, obviously
Mhm.
the other two songs are big, but like this is a big like vulnerable moment song. It's like, and this whole time I'm watching the show and I'm watching Ainsley sing this song, and all I'm thinking is there anybody else in this audience that knows like who they're watching sing this song?
I don't
Like,
know.
I
Leave
don't
less
know
than a minute. It's about to blow up.
I don't know how many
Get your thoughts
people in this audience like knew that Ainsley was Jet. And it's
Mhm.
like, you know, like that you're having like a celebrity sing this song to you. All right. As I was saying before, I rudely got cut off by our
Mm.
timer,
We're
and
like
uh,
over an hour and a half in.
of
Keep that
course
up.
we are. Um, I was just wondering, like, how many people, like, if anybody else in the audience besides my mom and I knew
Mhm.
who they were singing this song. Like, if they, you good?
Yeah.
If they knew that they had like a celebrity like singing this song in front of them, and and singing it exceptionally well, because I've heard a good amount of versions of this song, and Ainsley's is I mean, obviously I'm biased, but going off what I know from the show, Ainsley's is one of the best, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote one other thing about it while we are on the break there, I forgot. Um, Not only like this is a hard song to sing because you're belting with a British accent and you're singing like a slow tune in a British accent. Yeah. And Ainsley really captured the loneliness that Sally has during the song, that she wants love and doesn't want abuse. So yeah, I'm never gonna shut up about Ainsley's version of the song. Ever. Period. End of story. Okay. After maybe this time we transition to back to the club. And actually no, before that, um Ernst talks to Cliff and offers him a chance to earn easy money. Picking up a suitcase
Yeah.
in Paris and delivering
Mm-hmm.
it to his client because he's already been teaching, like, his friends English and stuff. Um, doing was pulling something else up. There you go. I had it. Oh, here we go. And get it in case. Okay. After that, the MC sings "Money,"
Do the cool song.
which is a cool song. Basically, the message of the song is that money makes the world go round,
Mm-hmm.
which it does.
Yeah, in our show, they had like the money, like physical ceiling hole. So like they had the money sprinkling down.
Our version, they had the MC like throw it up in the air,
Yeah. Ours just
all
like fell from the ceiling.
all the ensemble to catch it, and there's
Yeah.
like they're like
It's kind
catching.
of like that scene. It's kind of like that scene if you watch Hamilton, the Reynolds pamphlet, when
Yeah,
they're like
they're
catching
catching
the
it
Reynolds pamphlet.
and they're like diving for it.
You
And
have to like clean them up as you're like doing this.
yeah,
Like,
in our performance, one of the dollar bills, because it's like actual dollar bills, like I'm pretty sure they use like
mm,
actual money, um, landed in the audience,
mm,
and I could see it. And the guy in front of me leans down to pick
mm,
it up and like places it
mm,
right at the edge of the stage. And I could see one of the ensemble members look down and like see it and like give
mm,
the guy like a little look of acknowledgement of like that she sees it and
mm,
you. And then at the end of the song, she like grabbed it from the edge of the stage, and I thought that was cool. She didn't break
mm,
character at all.
mm,
Like it's like the little things that you notice. Um, and then yeah, meanwhile, again, we have Fräulein Schneider who is caught. Apparently, Fräulein Kost is a prostitute. Um,
mm,
bringing sailors into her room again, and she forbids her for doing it. But Kost threatens to leave and also reveals that she saw Fräulein Schneider bring her Schultz into her room the other
mm,
day. Um, and it being the time period and everything, her Schultz saves Fräulein Schneider's reputation by saying that they are to be married in 3 weeks.
mm,
And I was like, oh, this is so cute. Um,
mm,
and then afterwards, Fräulein Kost departs, and Fräulein Schneider thanks Herr Schultz for lying. And he says that he wasn't lying, that he was serious, and then he proposes to her. And they have a song where they talk about them getting married,
mm,
and it's so cute. And you could see everybody in the audience just being like, "Aww."
mm.
The next scene we get is their engagement party. And I'm so glad that somebody took a picture of the costume that Ainsley was wearing
Yeah,
because
they like dress up nice because it's a party.
if I tried describing it, I would nobody would believe me because like it is such out of Jet's style range and also Ainsley's style range that it's like, what? All right, let's see. I need this video to load so I can show him. Oh, hold on. There, look how cute they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's married, and they got the pineapple in the back.
The pineapple.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is the like lightest color I've ever seen any of Ainsley's characters wear.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally like it was a pale, like if I had to just pale, pretty party dress. And it was so cute because in this scene, Sally and Cliff are talking, and then Sally is leaning against Cliff all cutesy and romantically, and then
Mm-hmm.
she like jumps up and she's like, "Oh, we gotta give him their present," and she like excitedly runs over to the table to give him their present, and she brings over like this beautiful glass fruit bowl, and she's so
Mm-hmm.
excited to give it to them, and I'm like, I love cute Ainsley characters just as much as I love badass Ainsley characters.
Mm-hmm.
If I get more scenes like that, I'll be happy. Cause it was so cute. Then did I don't know, did your person give her a fruit bowl? Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
it's like different for the production for the show. Yeah, it was cute. Um, can I share my screen still?
Hold on. Every
Let me,
time we look, we set the Zoom up to remember to turn it back on.
let
Okay,
me
we should be able to.
pull up the scene. Okay, yeah, because I have the scene. So again, this is for rehearsal. I think they decided to change the costume because this is not what she was wearing. All right, so this is the scene of them doing it in rehearsal at their little party.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, that's the fur coat. That's not what Ainsley wore. That is what Ainsley wore. Um, but this is how the scene went. It's quick. She does a little jump and runs over to get the gift. And is excited about
Mm-hmm.
it. And I was like, that is so cute. But also, no, if Jet ever ran like that, everyone would be like, "Are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you good?" Then we get to the probably one of like the big revelations in the show that I had no idea about. Like I knew
I
most
didn't want to spoil it for you.
I knew
I
a
knew.
few of the stuff going in, but this is one where me and the audience all went.
I didn't know until I saw the show. I was like, oh.
Um, so Cliff is at the party, and the suitcase that is he's holding in the rehearsal clip he gives to
Mm-hmm.
Ernst. That's his contraband that he's supposed to bring
But at the
to.
beginning of the show, he's like checked for contraband on the train. Remember?
Yeah,
Because
and
he
he
slides his
checked his
briefcase over
suitcase.
to where Cliff is sitting. He's like, because they already checked his stuff. He's like, thanks, man. No, hold on.
Um, and we have Herscheltz. He he's had a lot of schnapps, so he's a little tipsy. So he sings a Yiddish song,
Use
or
my three.
mesquite, which is Yiddish for an ugly or funny looking, or mesquite, which is Yiddish for ugly or funny looking, and it's a song with a moral. Afterwards, like Ernst hearing that,
Yeah,
um,
like,
walks over to Schneider and she's like, gives her basically a warning that, like, with everything that's going to be happening in Germany, I don't think you want to marry this man. And then he takes off his coat in the middle of the party, in
It's
front
kind
of
of
it.
like pulled off. It's kind of like
Oh yeah, because Fraulein Coast like goes to take his coat and she takes it off, and she goes to take it off. He takes it off, and you see on his arm a bright red Nazi
swastika.
swastika, and you see everybody
They're like,
in
oh,
that party stop and look at him. Even Sally, who always has a smile on her face, instantly goes to her smile instantly goes to this kind of expression as everybody's just watching and waiting to see what happens. That was the first and only facial.
right. Yeah.
It's the first and only facial expression in the show where I was like,
Yeah.
there we go. That's Jet or
Mm-hmm.
Jet like. Because the rest of the time, like Sally is happy. This is the time where she's like, her and everyone else are like, oh God, what is happening? What does this mean? And you could see that because her shelter's drunk and everything is getting kind of tense,
They're like, let's go.
Mike Koss decides to step in and offers to dance with Ernst to distract him, so the party isn't horrible. Um, and they do. Um, and oh no, sorry, I mixed things up. So first he reveals his armband, and then he tells Fraulein Schneider not to marry Schultz because he's a Jew, and marrying a Jew would be unwise. Then Kost dances with him, and then he starts to sing "Tomorrow Belongs to Me" Reprieve, which has turned into more of a Nazi anthem. And you have everybody else at the party watching and just silence
Mm-hmm.
and shock. And there's no happiness there. Like, usually all these people are so happy. You see their demeanor change in an instant. Like, what does this mean for us? And that is the end of Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know it's very long.
I had a picture. There you go. So they got
Yeah, they kind of stand there.
Fräulein, Konst, Ernst, and even the MC like joins along just to like go with the fact that, like, things are changing type moral. And then you got everybody in the background just watching. And I don't think I
Mm-hmm.
noticed this before, but Sally and Cliff are holding hands,
Yeah.
all just watching this happen. Um oh, I also have to credit I think this is one of the ensemble members who posted these pictures. Let me make sure. Her name. Oh, yep, Fola Walker. Thank you for all these
Mm-hmm.
beautiful pictures in this reel. Appreciated. Um, yep, okay. Then we go to Act 2. Taryn, I saw this post from one of my favorite theater TikTokers. Um, it goes by, her name is B-Way Show. If
I think you showed her to me.
yeah. I'm just trying to find the tweet that I sent to you, and you were like, yeah, you're gonna need tissues. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, and so they put a few days before I went to go see the show, and they wrote, "Hear me out. It's a concert of cabaret where we get the incredible music and spectacle, but don't have the depressing second half. What then?"
The
And I sent
second
that
half is real
to
dark.
Aaron, and I was like,
Absolutely. I told you so.
I'm not gonna survive, am I? And she's like, no, you're going to cry. And I was like, great. So let's get into Act Two and buckle up, people. It's a lot. Um, we start off with a small kickline number.
Hmm.
Um,
It's kind of like a quiet, like it's just like at first it's like just the orchestra, and then it's
oh,
like a
first
little.
I gotta start with this then. And
Hmm.
um, I don't I don't
Uh,
know if this choice was done
mm,
on purpose by our director or not, but I loved it. Um, for context, the production of Parade going on in New York right now, Michael Arden, who won a Tony for Best Director, as he should, for this choice alone, he should have won it. But anyway, he has Ben Platt sit on stage the entire intermission, just in character, just the entire intermission. Um, about 5 minutes before our intermission ended, you see the curtain rise and you see Cliff on stage writing on his typewriter, writing his book. And I was like, oh my God, it's like a small parade parallel. And you could see the audience and everybody looking around like, is it starting? Is it what? And it had nothing to do with the beginning number because right before the intermission actually started, you see Cliff like pack up and walk off stage. And then the MC walks out and the act two starts. So I thought that was so cool because it reminded me of what they did in New York. And I've never seen that in a production of production of Cabaret before. All right. Anyway, keep going with the kick line. The number you
hmm.
were
Yeah, they kind of have this like little kick. They have like the like the orchestra plays for a bit, and then it's the kick line number. It's kind of like just a little show, you know.
what were your people wearing? Do you remember?
Kind of like kick line outfits, you know, kind of what people wear on like the kick line, you know. They're like traditional like outfits. It was kind of funny because like one of the girls like, acted like she was tired during it, and it was really funny.
Ours,
Like she would act like she was out of breath, like
yeah,
during the song.
that was part of our thing too, but they took it another step and ours, so both the guys and girls in this number were wearing skirts. Um,
Yeah, ours were too.
and it's just that number, kind of number, that kind of show. Um, but then they all go off stage for a second and you hear this like whistle in the background, and then they all come back on stage with gas masks.
Ours didn't have that.
And they do the rest of the kickline number wearing gas masks. And then as you see everybody leave, you see the MC take off his mask and reveal that he was there the whole time doing the kickline, um, and then leaves. I was like, oh, we're already starting with the
Hmm.
seriousness of this. They already pulled out
Hmm.
the gas masks. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, Oh, and it becomes like a goose step. It turns into, the Nazi dance at one point, and they all
Hmm.
like have their hands up like a
The
salute.
salute. They're doing the salute.
And
Yeah,
then to add to
probably.
that, our production had gas masks. Okay, next we have Frontline Schneider, who, after everything, is now expressing her concerns about dating and
Getting married. Yeah.
Herr Schultz. Um, they're talking. And then you see the in our thing, you see the MC walk downstage, walk in front of the stage, and you could see him watching the interaction. And then all of a sudden you see him
Oh yeah, he drops a brick.
throw a brick.
Yeah.
Never seen like it crashed through.
a window, but there's
lunch.
not actual window, but it represents
Oh, I forgot to mention this. I believe it was in Money, where literally I had two of our cabaret girls jump in the audience and full on hug like a guy that was
Mm,
like right there and like smile at him. And it was like a group of like two, it was two older couples in front of me and they were cracking up. They were such good sports. I will say that because a lot of the stuff was thrown at them.
mhm,
Um, in the beginning of Act Two, the MC talked to me, and I was like, kind of playing along a bit because I was like,
mm,
I'm like, I love this guy. I want to make it,
mhm,
make it, make him like. There's some people like when they go to theater and the actors like talk to them, they're like totally just meh, and then it kind of makes
mhm,
the actors act kind of fall apart and they have to move on. I played along with it, so like they would know that, you know, I get it, and I'm having a great time at the show. Um, because this guy was just David was phenomenal. Um, okay. Anyway, the brick thrown through the window of the fruit shop, and Shells tries to reassure that it is merely just rowdy children making trouble, but Fraulein Schneider is now realizing just how serious this is. Um, then back at the Kit Kat Club, we get the weirdest song of the show.
mhm. It's a weird
It
song.
has a message behind it. You don't get that till
It
the end.
does. It does, but like it's like if you look at
It,
first glance, you're like, what?
yeah. So it's called If You Could See Her, and it's basically the MC um comes out with one of the cabaret girls dressed in a gorilla suit.
Hmm.
And I know I have a picture of this too.
I think I saw it. You showed it. I don't remember.
Probably, let's see if I can find it.
Callie, you don't understand. Like Callie and I send each other stuff all day long,
I sent
even if
you
we're not there.
every single time the Virginia Festival posted a picture. It's like, here you go. Because I knew I was going, but I knew you weren't. So I wanted you to see all the pictures of Ainsley and everybody that I could get. There you go.
Hmm.
So you got ours who's like half dressed like a gorilla with like a little like jacket on. Was yours like half dressed as the gorilla or
It
was like
was
the
a full. It was a full suit, but like they
yeah,
had
some
like
production
jewelry on though. It
yeah,
was a
some
full suit, but they had like jewelry on.
yeah, some productions have a full suit, some don't. Our girl also had like gorilla feet, but the
Hmm.
toenails are painted pink.
Yeah, ours was too.
Um, so he basically goes into this whole song of their love has been met with universe, a song that says, if you could see her for who she really is, you would love, if you could see her through my eyes, you'd love her. And the end of the song, he goes, if you could see her through my eyes, she wouldn't look Jewish.
And you're like,
My
oh.
then he literally stops and just looks at the audience and everybody's silent. And then they go and then he does like an ends the song, the high note, and
Hmm.
then we all start clapping and it's funny because then they started like mocking us clapping now.
Hmm.
And it's like, yeah. So basically, to put it in perspective, it's not so much that she was the problem that she was a gorilla, it's that she was Jewish, and that's why everybody was looking at them weirdly, but they put it into an analogy of as
That
if
he would.
he was dating a gorilla woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next they go to Fraulein Schneider goes to visit Cliff and Sally and goes to return their oh wait, first we get a scene with just Cliff and Sally and how she is struggling with morning sickness. And Cliff is like, "It's okay." And Sally's like, "You're not the one who's struggling with it every day." And she wants gin, but can't have it because of the baby.
Mhm, mhm.
And then Fräulein Schneider goes into their room and goes to return the bowl
Fruit
to
bowl. Mhm.
Sally. Um, and explains that the marriage has been called off. And Cliff just tries to tell her that she can't give up and she can't end it this way. And Fräulein Schneider is like, "What other choice do I have?"
Mhm.
And she goes into this explanation of she's like, "I was here for this war. I was here for this war. I was here for this battle. I will still be here after the Nazis take over.
Yeah. I like,
But
I'll still be here when, stuff happens. You're
it,
like, "Ooh."
it basically is it's not that she doesn't want to marry Herr Schultz, it's just that she has so much at risk if she does because then she'll lose her
Yeah,
license to own the like
the
apartment
boarding house.
everybody the boarding home and then everybody is going to be out of a home and it's like basically she has to choose that over love and it's not that she doesn't love him it's just that marrying him because he's Jewish at this time is way
Wouldn't be good. Mhm.
and this was the song that like I thought was like Janet's best. It was incredible. Uh,
Mhm.
then we get another conversation um between Cliff and Sally, and Cliff is basically begging Sally to leave Germany with him at this point so that they
Yeah,
can go
because it's not
field.
the safest place to be. It's just what it is.
And Sally is like, oh, and they can go raise their child together in America. And he goes on, is like, that's my home. We're gonna go home. And Sally's like, that's not my home. Like,
Mhm.
this is my home. Also, I'm English. But she also continues and says, there's nothing wrong. Like everything in that their life is beautiful. Everything in Berlin is beautiful. And she goes on and she says, it's all gonna be okay. It's just politics. What does that have to do with us? And that is like a
Yeah,
big
that's literally how everyone, like, you read
everybody's
during
like
about that time
everything's
in history, that's
fine.
literally how everyone acted. Like, in
But
that time in history, that's literally how they all acted. They're like, it'll be fine.
okay, fine. But
And what do
Sally
they know?
is the one who is thinking of this the most.
World War was
Got
coming
a
again.
carefree attitude about everything. And she's like, it's all okay. This doesn't have anything to
World
do with
War is
that.
coming
And
again.
Cliff is like, you need to wake up and see what is
Mm,
happening.
mhm,
Because at this point, she is also like debating going back to the club or not. And Cliff is like, no, leave with me, so we're safe. And she's like, nope, the politics don't have anything to do with us. And then she goes back to the club. So right now you can see, yeah, things are going sour for all of the romantic couples.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
then we get the MC's big song. And I tell you, David's voice like soared through the auditorium. Like it was that good. And the song is called I Don't Care Much. And it's basically like going off of like, yes, I don't know, I gotta find the lyrics because it is an important distinction to get. Now, in the Broadway production, the MC comes out in like this jeweled
Yeah,
dress and
ours
ear.
does too. He's like pearls. I think it's pearls. And ours.
And I remember that because I know that it from Raoul's clips that are online, and the Raoul
Mm,
wore that outfit, and Alan Cumming wore that outfit. Yours had pearls. Ours was sitting um on a stool with his leg up on another on the stool in a tank top and leather pants with like some change. Um, just singing the song, and that's literally all he needed. And it says,
mhm,
um, Basically, the song is, "I don't care much, go or stay. I don't care very much either way." Basically, the MC is like, "I don't care what happens. Either way, in this situation, he stopped caring."
Mhm.
And this is coming from the guy who has such a bright energy to him. The fact that he's singing this, like, melancholy song is like, "Holy crap, what is happening to these people?" And then we start to get to the, really sad
Yeah.
shit. Um, Cliff and Sally have another heated argument, and I believe this is the one where basically Cliff is telling Sally that she needs to wake up.
Mhm.
Um, because basically, what did I wrote it down. Yeah, that basically Cliff is yelling at Sally that the only reason she ever got anything in life was by fucking around.
Yeah, he literally says that. That's like
He
the line.
literally says the F word, which is why I said it, and he says that to her.
Mm.
And like the audience and me was in absolute shock that he said that to her. I would have been in shock either way, but having to direct it at somebody being played by Ainsley did not settle well with me.
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh my god." I was angry. I was very
Mm.
angry because it's
It
also
was
like,
like I
how
like
dare.
imagined
Go ahead.
like when I saw the show, I like imagined Ainsley because I knew we were gonna win. I was like,
Yeah, like, no. So this guy is basically slut shaming her
mm,
when all she did was live her life and happen to sleep with a few people. But basically, he's saying that all her riches, all her jobs, everything, the only reason that she had it is because she was sleeping around.
mhm,
I was like, how dare you? And Sally, again, plays it off. Like,
I can't want it. She was like, I'm gonna go back to work. I think this was the part where she was like,
yeah,
ah.
I'm fine. I'm going back to the club. Fine.
And he's like, you can't do that. And she's like,
Like,
can.
yeah, I can. Um, Literally, the fact that this woman gets so much shit thrown at her and it just takes it and
Mhm,
is like, I'm fine, everything's okay. It's not because first, first, after Sally goes back to the club, Cliff tries to follow her. Cliff is accosted by Ernst, who has another delivery job for him, and Cliff is like, "No, I'm not doing this. I am not teaching English to any more of your Nazi buddies. No,
mhm,
I'm done." And Ernst inquires if Cliff's attitude towards him is because of that Jew at the party, to which Cliff gets angry and punches him,
yeah, and then he gets jumped.
and that he gets jumped by Ernst's bodyguards and gets ejected from the club. Then we get the 11 o'clock number, the big number in the show.
Mhm,
This is one of the most difficult musical theater songs for a woman to sing ever. Period. End of story. Because it's like 5 minutes long
mhm,
and you go through such a range of emotions during the song
mhm.
that it takes an extremely talented person to be able to do this. And when I say that I already knew Ainsley was talented, but by the big crescendo at the end of the song,
Mhm.
I was shaking. My jaw was dropped and I was crying because I was in awe Like it took Ainsley's acting, the song took Ainsley's acting to a whole nother level for me. And it was all because of like these this song is all about the choices that an actor makes. And the
Mm-hmm.
little choices that Ainsley did that like set in stone that oh my god, yes, they absolutely understand the meaning of the song. And B, they are a fucking incredible Sally Bowles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it basically starts with the MC introducing Sally again with his usual, if I give her to you, you have to give her back when she's finished. And she enters the stage as usual, but there's like this microphone in front of her.
Mm-hmm. Our stage had like 2 floors, so like she was on the top floor, and it was like,
Ours, we only had one thing, so like I had Ainsley like 2 feet in front of me
mm-hmm.
again. She's singing this on Cabaret. I have to get the lyrics so I can figure out when um that choice happened. But first let me find the photo. I still have screen share on? Yes. Yes. Do I still have screen share on?
should we have 2 minutes?
All right, I'll make it. All right, I'm gonna use frick. All right, the only one I can find is Ainsley's. So this is the dress that I originally thought she wore during maybe this time, but this is your dress that she wears during um the song is called Cabaret, and it's the only this
Mm-hmm.
I can find. So there's a
Yeah.
dress,
Mm-hmm.
and the song starts with Sally having this incredibly big smile on her face.
Yeah.
And over time, as she's singing the song, slowly goes into a mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like makeup smeared, lipstick all over her face, mascara dripping from her eyes, tears in her eyes, and what can only be described as a Joker like smile.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not, Ainsley's was like this by the end of the song, and I was like, holy fuck. Um, and she basically starts it as what good is it like this is when she's happy, and it goes, what is good is sitting alone in your room, come hear the music play, life is a cabaret, old chum, come to the cabaret. uh
Mm-hmm.
Basically telling people to come to
Sure
the
did
cabaret.
go. Oh, now it's on the little
And then
bar
yeah,
and with the
exactly, see,
bishop
that's the
and it
also
has
life
a
is a
little
cabaret
bit.
chum, but Ainsley
It
tweets
has a little bit.
oh Cliff's little typewriter.
It's, it
Oh,
says
you
writer on
reminded
it
me.
says it says writer on the pen, but you can't really see because of the clear
Yeah, you
the
reminded
paper
me
on.
that Sally was in awe over her typewriter,
Yeah, she's like,
and she was so happy about like Cliff writing her book, and she wanted. Once again, the timer decided to
it went boom.
go into my rant. I don't remember what the last thing I said was. I
I
think
know.
looking up the lyrics.
Yeah, the cabaret.
Yes, yes, the song is literally called Cabaret. You know, the title song of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
This is our fourth,
oh,
fifth
I was saying,
recording,
of
third,
course,
whatever.
I did 6 videos on this on TikTok. I could talk about the show all day. I would appreciate it if you went to go check those out.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're at 2.5 hours of recording finish.
of course we are. um. Anyway, yeah. So, "Life as a Cabaret Old Chum" is basically the show's tagline. So much so that when Ainsley posted that they got this role,
Yeah,
um,
I used that one.
yeah. Um, so basically, Sally is trying to get everybody to come to the cabaret. And then she goes off into this little thing of telling the story about this girlfriend that she used to have. So, yeah. Sally's queer coded
Mhm.
100%, and it works that they have Ainsley playing them because they're bi. Oh, and I also forgot to mention this earlier, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not, that Ainsley is the first person to play Sally who goes by they, she, he pronouns.
Mhm.
That's yay! Like it proves that like anybody could freaking play this role. Like they for yes, like we've talked about this before, that we don't know when Ainsley changed their pronouns, but right now their pronouns are they first, then she, then he. So we have a person on stage who most of the time, even cast when they were talking about Ainsley, David put a post on his Instagram talking about how Ainsley's performance is like incredible and heartbreaking, and they said their Sally. Usually it's her Sally. Nope.
Mhm.
We have an actress who, or actor, because that's what Ainsley has said. We have an actor who we can say their Sally. And that's
Mhm.
incredible. All right. Anyway, Sally is trying to get all these people to come to the cabaret and goes into the story about this girlfriend that she used to have named Elsie.
Mhm.
Um, she goes on, she says she wasn't what you call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. And it goes into like this talking, singing part of the
Mhm.
and talks about how Elsie died,
Yeah.
but she remembers how Elsie, I love how Ainsley said this line. It says Elsie was laid out like a queen, and she like yelled, she like bells that line like, yes,
Mhm.
let them hear that you think this woman was a queen. Um, and that she still thinks of Elsie to this day, and that she remembered that Elsie is the one who told her that what good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret. And then we get to the bit like the next part, and she goes, and as for me, and as for me, I made my mind back up in Chelsea. And I need to pause because I've heard a few versions of this song before, but I only did like bits and pieces because I wanted to be like surprised when I saw Ainsley's version.
Mhm.
This is one of the choices that I was talking about. They belt the next line, they belt the line when I go, and they stop and they hyperventilate, laugh
Yeah.
like you know they're losing it type laugh,
Mhm.
and then says the line, I'm going like Elsie. And then the rest of the song is the entire build. This is what the song is all about. This is when Sally is having her mental breakdown. Um, and the end of the song is, this is when anybody who plays this song, who usually, I know you said it because your Sally had her makeup spirit as well. This is your
Mhm.
clothes are disheveled, makeup is smeared. The actress on stage is laying it all out as they have a breakdown.
Mhm.
Uh, and says, start by admitting from cradle to tomb, it isn't that long a stay. Life is a cabaret, old chum. And that line, Ainsley put it out, Ainsley sung it as like a raspy, loud voice. And then the rest of the line is they got their Joker like smile on their face. Again, mascara streaming down their face, much like in Punch Drunk when um Jet would,
Mhm.
but even more so because
Mhm.
like you told me your Sally already started with their makeup smeared. Ainsley started the song with full on perfect makeup, and by the end of the song, it was a mess. I don't even know what they were doing. Like the only thing they were doing was holding the microphone, and I don't know if it was like the makeup that they were wearing and like the lights or anything, but
Mhm.
not touching their face at all. All they were doing was singing, and ever as they were singing, an entire
Mhm.
facade of Sally is gone, makeup all over the place. And they sing the last line as if nothing is happening. Nothing. They didn't just have a mental breakdown 30 seconds ago.
Mhm.
And it's only a cabaret old chum, and I love a cab. I'm not singing, and I almost tried singing, but I'm not going to. And I love a cabaret. Nope, can't listen to the song so many times this week that I keep trying to it only comes out as singing. The line that
Mhm.
they sing as a belt is its own. So first we got the angry raspy line, and then it's only a cabaret old chum, and I love a cabaret. And God, I was shaking. And here is another choices thing. So I've seen Sally's that throw their microphone down. I've seen Sally's that just stand there on stage with their arms out, posing after the breakdown. And I've seen this lights just go black. Ainsley,
Mhm.
after they sung, their face instantly falls as they stop and they look out into the crowd and realize what their reality actually is right now. And in a split second from their face falling, they run off stage.
Mhm.
That they're done. They just run off stage. That's it. And it made it even more like impactful that they're running off stage while the audience is clapping. There because that song is incredibly hard to sing, and it's just like I literally had to let out a breath afterwards because I was in awe, absolute awe. Like I'm never gonna forget the moment of them just stopping and running. Um, and unfortunately, everything only goes downhill from there
Mhm.
because keep in mind, Sally just had a breakdown.
Mhm.
The next, let's see if I'm missing anything before I say it. Next thing, yeah, Sally just had a breakdown. Oh, I forgot there was a day thing after this.
Mhm.
I thought it was literally right after, which would have been even more crazier. Yeah, so basically Sally is like, and most of the versions it's like, nope, she's cementing that she wants to go live in carefree ignorance. Ainsley's is like, reality has hit her like a ton of bricks, and she leaves the cabaret in
Mhm.
running in tears. Like, break my heart again. Like, oh my God, I can't, I literally like I can't say enough how in awe I was just sitting there watching it. All right. Anyway, next morning, Cliff, who now has a bruise on his face,
Mhm.
packing up to leave when Herscheltz visits. He says that he's leaving to go live in another boarding house, but he is confident that these difficult times will soon pass.
Little did I know.
Yeah. Um, and she says then like this poor guy, like he says he understands German people because he's German too. And that's the thing though. All the German Jewish people that were targeted in the Holocaust were all still German.
Yeah.
They just
It would
happened
matter.
Jewish.
They were like, it didn't matter to them if
It
they
didn't
were
matter.
Jew.
Then the next scene we see Sally stumble into Cliff's apartment. Um, she's wearing like a short blue dress with a white peplum collar, and you could just tell
Yeah, and
something.
ours she had like pants and like a tank, like a wide tank top shirt. But
You can just tell that something isn't right.
yeah.
Um, they get into a conversation, and then she
Hmm.
says, "You know what I really need right now? A spot of gin." And she goes to have some gin, and Cliff is like, "That
Yep.
can't be good for the baby." And Sally's like, yep, yep." And then Cliff walks over to her and puts her hands on his shoulder. No, his hands on her shoulders. She's like, "You're freezing. Where's your fur coat?" And this is why we said to remember the fur coat.
Hmm.
She says, "I left my fur coat she says, I left it at the doctor's office."
A greedy doctor.
Oh, and hold up. I had more to say.
Sorry.
Only because like you could hear a pin drop in my auditorium. You could hear like a few gasps of people like it hitting them. Um, I will say that I love that the show didn't just have Sally outright say that got in a that she terminated the pregnancy, that she got an abortion, that
Hmm.
she went to the doctor, and then you just know
Hmm.
what it was. Um, I also love that a show written in 1966. This is before the court case happened.
Hmm.
Had this decision made by a woman and a woman alone.
Hmm.
That's poignant. Like that's why I think it is so incredible that we put this show on, that three different theaters that put this show on in 2023, because they have everything going on with the abortions. They have everything going on with the anti
Considering living in a
stuff.
state like Alabama,
Hell
where
yeah,
it's
and they put it on in Alabama
yeah.
and Virginia. They put it on in Alabama and Virginia. Way to go. Like, yeah. And they have this show with all those themes being played in 2023 because it is correlating to shit that's going on in people's lives now. Anyway, um, Cliff is like, what, like in shock that she actually did it. And you can tell it didn't go well because she's like stumbling around the place. It wasn't great. Um, and Cliff is like in disbelief that she did it, but that she goes on and she says, "My one regret is that I know you would have been a really great father."
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Ouch. But then she goes on because Cliff is like, "Okay, now we need to leave." And then she goes on, and then I don't know if Crystal did this, but Ainsley took the suitcase, clutched it for a few minutes while she's talking, and she's like, "You know what my other regret would have been?" And then she throws the suitcase down and says, I would have regretted if that baby came out and it looked like Max." And she kicks the suitcase.
Hmm. I
So
don't remember.
you can tell that it's not that Sally didn't want this baby, because like if it was Cliff's, she would have been fine because she knew he would have been a good father. But she could
Hmm.
not have Max's baby after everything that he did to her.
Hmm.
She could not have this abusive man's baby. So she decided to make the decision for herself. And then she goes on and she says the line that you mentioned, that greedy doctor. I loved my fur coat. Hold on.
Yeah, you're like, oh. She's
And
not wearing the coat anymore. Because he's like, "Are you cold?" or something like that at the beginning. She just like say it to him now. What
that's where
happened?
that's where the picture that I showed earlier came up when I was trying to show that little table. So because she's cold and she doesn't have her fur coat anymore, Cliff gives her a sweater.
Hmm.
And then she's like, that greedy doctor, I'm gonna miss my fur coat. And then I knew that this happened, but I didn't know how they were gonna do it. Because then Sally gets slapped.
Hmm.
But for our staging, they had it where Cliff was standing here and Ainsley was facing him. Sally is facing him. So Sally's back was to the audience. And he swung his arm up, and it looks like her chin goes sideways. And I was like, that's not a slap. Like, it literally looks like she got full on hit. And
Hmm.
her body swings and lands stomach on the desk. And I knew that was happening. I still went. And I could hear a few people around me to go to like that too. Because it's like, holy crap. Like, this woman has already been grabbed and enough, and now this man who she thought loved her has just slapped her, hit her so hard that she landed on her desk right after she had an extremely difficult procedure.
Hmm.
Also, the fact that she had a mental breakdown and then said, I'm going to get an abortion,
Hmm.
you can tell she is broken. Um, and I wrote this next line down because I knew I needed to get it because basically like Sally all this time has numbed the pain of any of her lost relationships or abusive relationships with alcohol, sarcasm, and flirtiness. By the end, when she got hit by somebody who she thought really loved her and would
Hmm.
understand the decision she made, she's angry. Um, where did I put it? Oh, I got it. She starts it off as she's laughing, like she always does. She goes, isn't it funny? It always ends like this.
Hmm.
Even when I do love someone quite terribly. I was like, oh frick. She loved him.
Hmm.
I could feel my heart breaking into tiny little pieces at this point. Um, and she says, it always ends like this. It Oh wait, hold on. I already did it. Isn't it funny? It always ends like this, even when I do love someone quite terribly. It's then the Ainsley says this line in such a raspy, angry, broken tone that I started crying for the third time during the show. And she slams her fist on the desk while she's saying it. She goes, it's just not enough. And that theater went dead. That theater was silent. And that was the other point where I was like, do these people know who they're seeing? Like, mm. Like all these people probably thinking she's like a local production with like people, but I'm like, you're seeing like a celebrity do what she does best. I was in like, I was like, all right, I know the show is ending, but because I was like, I don't know how much more my heart can take of this. I was like, okay, she's sad and she's angry and she's broken and I'm a mess. Um, then, um,
Cliff had sold a typewriter to go to buy the tickets to go to
yeah,
America. She's like, if you want this, you can have it, but I'm gonna
she's like,
go.
I hope that you'll come to France with me. And Sally has picked up the pieces and says it in her usual tone. She says, I've always hated Paris, but she hopes that when Cliff finally writes her novel, he's going to dedicate it to her.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, there's too much sadness going on. I can't breathe. And Cliff leaves heartbroken and Sally's broken, and I'm just like, why? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Um, then you see Cliff get his train to Paris, and he starts saying a line from his book, and he says, "There is a cabaret, and there is a master of ceremonies, and there is a city called Berlin, and a country called Germany, and it was the end of the world, and I was dancing with Sally Bowles, and I was fast asleep." Um, then we get the finale where it's basically like a a repeat of the beginning. The MC comes out, um, and he's in this time. He's in like a dictator like garb, like he's got a dictator hat, a dictator cape, but he's got like the
Train
cape.
conductor.
Yeah, but he's because he's like the train conductor. Like that's
Not the
the
conductor, the person who takes the ticket.
analogy they're doing. And he's
Mm-hmm.
got mine has like the dictator hat. The David had a dictator hat, the dictator like cape, but he had like his red leather pants and like the club medal still. Um, and he's welcoming the audience to the club again, and he's like, "Life is beautiful, and I told you you would leave all of your troubles at the door," which we did, but then we got all of these troubles. Um, then the in the Virginia Theater Festival production, the ensemble comes out and closed. They're like all playing,
Yeah,
and
ours does too.
you could see like, oh god, shit's about to hit the fan. And they all start singing "Welcome" and "Bienvenue," but you could tell like something is different.
Mm-hmm.
They stop singing, and Sally is the last one singing, and she has a smile on her face, but you can still see the mascara streaming down her face because that's
Mm-hmm.
everybody is at this point. Um, and she starts singing "Life is a Cabaret," old Chum again, but then she trails off and sings "Life is a Cabaret," but she trails off and looks around and starts sobbing as she realizes that everybody's happiness is gone, the club is gone, her life has changed forever, everybody else's life has changed forever, everything's broken. And she stumbles, and I love the choice that they made. They have the ensemble all leave, and so we're left with David, the MC, and Ainsley, Sally, left on stage. Sally stumbles over to the side of the wall and is basically slumped against it in pain, crying. And she watches as the MC takes off the dictator gear and reveals he's wearing pink striped pajamas with a pink triangle on the tag. He takes off his boots, and inside the flap, there is a Star of David. And I'm very glad that there's actually a picture of this that I can show, because this moment hit me, that it's literally the end of the show and the only people left on stage are the MC and Sally. And you see the MC look over at Sally, and the two friends have like a final moment of goodbye before Sally stumbles off stage crying. And then you have the MC slowly walk up a staircase. And then you hear the sounds, the whistles of a gas chamber. And our show quite literally ended with the MC looking back at us, stepping into the gas chamber, and the lights go black. When I tell you, you could hear a pin drop in that auditorium, minus me and the guy next to me instantly going, wow. And there was no movement, nothing, dead silence for a minute and a half. As we all sat there in pure shock, only returning to applaud when the audience came out, when the cast came out for the bows. You said your production didn't do that, right?
We had like he was like in the center of the stage, but like he had like the pink triangle on his shirt, and then it like just went black.
And that's what the Broadway production does. So that's what I was fully expecting. I was not expecting my guy to walk into a gas chamber. That moment is going to stick with me forever. Like, that is probably, I've seen a lot of shows. That is probably that is the most impactful, shocking moments I've ever seen in theater. From Sally trailing off to real in her singing, to the two friends looking at each other, to him walking in a gas chamber. Like, that's gonna be permanently etched into my brain forever. After the show, I was shaking, and I walked over to my mom, and she was like, we were both in shock. I was like, I forgot how deep this show is.
Mhm.
And that's why we've been talking about it for over 2 hours, because it has a lot to say about it. Um, all right, now we get to the happy stuff. And by happy stuff, I mean that I went to this show for one reason and one reason alone. Okay, two reasons. I wanted to see a production of Cabaret, but most importantly, because I wanted to meet Ainsley.
There's
And
the picture.
I I still can't believe it. And they talked to me for a good solid 5 minutes. And when I tell you, I was nervous because I was worried that I was going to do or say something they thought was crossing a boundary and I didn't mean to. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh yeah, I had this scene where Ainsley's leaning against the doorway. That was fun. Um, and I was like this I was like in shock because I was like, oh my God, they're in front of me. And I was trying so hard to remain cool because they're beautiful. And I was like, I need to not look like I'm going over the top. But I was like in shock. And I was like 99% certain that the outfit that Ainsley was wearing is one that she wore for rehearsals at one point. So I was like, oh. But um yeah. All right, why can't I find the scene that I'm looking for? Um I also was like a little surprised at how tall Ainsley was. For some reason I thought we were like close at the same height, but then again, she had her heels on and I did not. Um there was a Q&A that night. So my mom and I um but we didn't know about. So my mom and I waited to talk to like to see if there's any chance at all we'd be able to talk to Ainsley because like I traveled from Boston to see them. Eventually they did, and my mom immediately made a beeline for Ainsley, and she walked out with David and the rest of the cast. Um, and I was going to do it, but I was like a little nervous to do it. Um, and my mom goes, Ainsley, hi, hi, Ainsley, like Ainsley, and you could see her turn to look at my mom. She's like, "Can we borrow you for a minute?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And I was getting a little nervous. So I was like, I did not want to bother her in the slightest. But then my mom goes on and she's like, my daughter is a really huge fan, um, of you and Jet. And then I like moved to like, so she can see me. And she turns and she sees my shirt and she really takes a step back and she's like, oh my God, I love your shirt because I'm wearing her shirt. Um, she um says that it's so nice to meet you. My mom says that we came all the way from Boston to see her. And she immediately goes, "No, you did not." And I was like, "Uh-huh, we did." And she hugs me. I didn't ask for a hug. She hugged me and she's like, "It is so nice to meet you." She asked what my name was. I told her my name. She repeated it back to me. So I can now say that Ainsley has said my name. Um, my birthday came up because I said that this is all I wanted for my birthday. She asked when my birthday was. And I said July 31st, I'm gonna be 25. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be 25 in September." And um she complimented my nails. She showed her that hers had like broke and I was like, they're really pretty. My mom said that I'd always been a big Dick Wolf fan, but then Jet came in and changed everything. Um, and that meant a lot to her. My mom's like, "You must have a lot of fun on that show." And she's like, "It's a blast." And she goes on and saying that fans like me are like the lifeblood of the show. Um, and my mom goes on and says you like my mom decides to bring up the podcast, and she's like, yeah, um they have yeah, her and her friend, like, I think she's talking in a room, and her and her friend um record a podcast. You actually messaged her back in February saying that you listened to the whole 2 hours of it. I kid you not. Ainsley whipped around, looked at me.
It was February. Okay,
Fourth,
let's see.
I think.
Yes, February 4th. We
And
told that story. There's a whole episode about it. You can go listen to it.
kid you not, Ainsley turns around, looks at me, eyes wide, both hands covering her mouth, immediately says, "That's you?" And I was in utter shock that they knew it was me, that I did the podcast. I was like, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that's me. And my friend and I do it. And I was like, yep, that's me. And she goes, I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity. I had tried to remain calm the entire time, but after hearing that, I immediately
The Zoom is about to explode in
had
like 1 minute.
and went
The Zoom has like 1 minute.
in my mouth because I was like, Aisley just called me a celebrity. When I'm calling her a celebrity, that's literally why I'm going. I'm telling everybody I'm going because of them, and they call me a celebrity. What? Um, then my mom brought up that I had told her that Ainsley was in. Oh no! First I was like, "Yeah, we really appreciate you like listening to us," and I was like, trying to do this apologetically. I was like, we didn't know we were gonna talk for 2 hours, um, but we did." And Ainsley was like, "Yeah, sometimes when you start talking about things, like you get a little carried away. It gets that long." I was like, "Uh-huh." I was still trying to like I wanted them to know that I was like, I didn't mean for us to talk for 2 hours. It just happened
It
for
just
us
happened.
to
If you
talk for
guys listen to our show any moment of time, you know that
um
these episodes.
all right, we're back. I found the picture I
Mm,
was looking for earlier, the one where she's kneeling on the desk, um, trying to comfort him. I don't remember what the scene was, but also just shows the height difference that like Ainsley's kneeling on the desk and she's still like almost as tall as him doing that. The guy's like 6 feet. She's tall. Um,
3 hours, a little over 3 hours.
of course we are. And I still wasn't done talking about my interaction with Ainsley because there is still more.
Continue.
You want to put the picture back up
Oh
again?
yeah. All right. Is this tab still open? Where is it?
Yeah. So, yep. Ainsley was like, "No way, that's you." When we said it was the podcast, and I was like trying to apologize for us talking for 2 hours about them, and here we are talking for 3 hours about them. So, yeah. Um. Um. Yeah. They're like, it's so. Yeah. Sometimes you just talk, and I was like, "Yep." And then my mom, being a mom, it's like I thought the whole time she was just talking in her room. Didn't know she had the podcast. It's like, yep. All right. Um, my mom earlier, I forgot to say that my mom loves Jet's deadpan, which is the best part. Um, and she's, I think my mom possibly mentioned like the contrast in this role or something. That she must have had a lot of fun with this role too. Because we also mentioned, because it was in her biography, the Jimmy Awards came up. and how I my mom said that I told her all about how Ainsley was on the Jimmy Awards because they just happened. Um, and Ainsley goes on and says that the Jimmy Awards were like a long time ago, but that she goes back and she watches those clips because they show her um where she was and like the growth that she has to her roles now. And it's definitely evident. And I went and I said, yeah, and it's also funny how you went from playing um Wednesday Adams to Jet. And she says, yep, Jet is definitely a Wednesday Adams. And we laugh. And it's just the whole time I was so nervous, but it really was just like a normal conversation. And what's the other thing? There was one other thing. Oh, yeah, at that point, like, um, my mom is better with social cues than I am. So my mom noticed that like Ainsley was trying to interrupt the conversation, and we were both like, yep, yep, okay, it's okay, go ahead. Because at that point, because of the Q&A, there was only like a few other people left. Like it was me. And I'm like looking at the other cast members and I see like David and some of the other ensemble members and they're smiling, but they are also waiting for Ainsley. So we're like, okay, yep, I get the picture. And then I decided to be assertive for once and I look at Ainsley and I was like, before you go, is there any way I could get your autograph? And she immediately replies, yes, yes. I hand her my playbill. They start signing it and they say, this is going to be more than an autograph. And I look and I see that they aren't just signing their name, and they're writing an entire message. And in case you can't see it because you're not watching on Spotify, I'll read it to you. It says, thank you in all caps with 3 exclamation points. ILY, meaning I love you, with 3 black hearts. Ainsley's signature Ainsley's signature emoji. And then and then they sign it Ains for Ainsley. And look at her. I look at Ainsley and I say, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. I am utterly starstruck right now. I'm such a big fan. Thank you. And Ainsley was so sweet. They were so appreciative of me as a fan. And I just couldn't believe it. So yeah, I met Ainsley and then proceeded to text
Mhm.
all our friends with absolutely no context that I met Ainsley. And they were all like, how? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm at Cabaret and they're the lead and here we go. And they're like, what? So yeah, that is my trip story of how I traveled from Boston to Virginia to go see Ainsley in a show. And it was 100% worth it. But it was funny because I went home and on Sunday I had my cousin's graduation party and I put the picture on Instagram and all my family members were like, who is that you met? Who is that? And I got to tell them all about Ainsley and everything. And it's I'm never going to forget this moment. Ainsley, if we have the pleasure of getting your uh another listen from you, and if you
Mhm.
have listened to us for this long,
Mhm. It's been 3 hours.
yeah, thank you
We don't
for
edit anything. I cut barely cut anything out because
all
we think it's all
the
important.
support.
We think it's all important, so we don't
Yeah.
hit anything. We hit the
Thank you
live
from the bottom of
barely.
my heart again for taking the time to talk with me, and I am never going to forget meeting you. Um, Thank you. All right. Now to the stuff that I've been holding back in regards to, I know I mentioned it earlier. Oh, wait, hold on. First, I gotta say, um, a part of me, why I was so nervous is because I did not want to seem like a crazy fan. That was like my biggest concern. Um, but we had a normal conversation and it was great and it was the best night of my life. But yesterday, I was reminded of why it is so important for when fans go to see a show in theater, why we respect that actors are humans too. There's a viral video going around of Broadway actress Leah Salonga, um, known for Miss Saigon and being the singing voices of Princess Jasmine and Princess Mulan. Um, there's a viral video of her going around where four of her fans broke into her dressing room and proceeded to ask for a picture and autograph. And she had no idea who they were. She kept asking who they were. They just said they were fans. And she went on to say that if they were not on the guest list, they could not be back there. Now, this woman, I have been a fan of hers since I was 6. Um, does not have a rude bone in her body, and the fans in the video are now saying that she was rude. She wasn't being rude. She was trying to like get her boundaries respected. Like if you're going to meet an actor at a show, you wait at the stage door or in the lobby. You don't go to the dressing room. And I bring this up because the after that, a lot of actors came out and said that the theater price of a theater ticket only gets you the chance to see the person that you're going to see live on stage in the show. It does not guarantee that you get any special privilege of meeting them after. I know I am extremely lucky and grateful that Ainsley talked to me for as long as they did, and that I got a hug, a picture, and an autograph. But I also know that if I acted like any of those fans in Leah's video, and that all could have been taken away. So I implore you guys, if you're going to see a show, just be mindful that these are humans too. If you treat them with respect and you are kind and you are understanding that sometimes you may not always be able to speak with them or see them, then it will be better for them and any future experiences that you have in the long run. So yeah, extremely grateful for the opportunity I had, but I understand that it was not a given. It was just luck, fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. All right. Last but certainly not least, I mentioned the West End revival Cabaret earlier. And it is coming to Broadway in 2024. And there is no cast announced. So, today, on this podcast, we are starting a unofficial campaign. And I've told Taryn about this multiple times because I said, yes, we're doing this. And they agreed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. So we're starting an unofficial campaign that the Sally Bowles in the Broadway production should be played by Ainsley. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that performance I saw, it's Broadway caliber Sally Bowles. And if they went on Broadway, I know that their performance would only get better. And it would be exactly what Broadway needs right now. Like their lead being somebody who goes by they, she, he pronouns. Their lead being somebody who has Jimmy Award experience. Because as I've explained to anybody who I've told about the Jimmy Awards, the Jimmy Awards is a huge deal. It gets you connections. Like, you could be a Tony winner, you could end up on Broadway, you can end up on NBC. So they would have another Jimmy alum as a lead in the show. They would have somebody who already knows the show, and they would have somebody who already knows how, like, acting and everything in New York works because they work on the TV show. And you would have so many fans from the Law and Order series who would go see them, us included. Again, it's just, and if I'm doing the math right, usually organized crime stops filming around springtime, but because they have a shorter season, it might be done by the time that the 2024 Broadway revival starts rehearsals. Like, my dream for Ainsley, and yes, if you're still listening, yes, this is my dream for you, because I know that you started out on stage. You said it so in your Instagram post that you were so happy to be on stage again. My dream for you is to be on Broadway, so that, yeah, they literally wrote, it's a dream come true to be on stage again, because they started off doing theater and everything. They even have worked with the people who've done the show before, for like 14 years. Nope, sorry. When she was 14. Because she's worked with them for 10 years. And worked with them on multiple productions. And has done multiple productions. Theater is where you started. And yeah. So, sum it all up, I would absolutely love for you to be cast as Sally Bowles in the revival. And depending on what happens with the strike, like, theater is the only thing that we have right now. Like, I've like looked into all the things that like influencers and TikTok people can talk about. Disney is off limits because they're one of the people who like aren't paying their company. NBC is starting to be off limits. The only thing we have right now to talk about is theater. All right. I'm going to end my rant and just saying that it's like a dream that I would be so happy if Ainsley got cast as Sally Bowles in the revival coming up. My other dream is for them to play Alpha. So who knows which ones could happen first? So yeah. I think that's finally everything we have to say about Cabaret for now anyway. I wasn't lying when I said this production was about to become my whole personality.
Yeah. So we had some more pictures to show.
Oh yeah.
So this is one.
This is your
theater
going.
I was. And this is a little gift shop we had. So these like Cabaret.
My place didn't have merch, and thank God, because I would have spent so much money.
Work. Thank you.
This was my
I got a little bag right here. It's right here.
It's so cute.
And
oh my God, they got a little bear. Is that a bear or is that a doll?
Right. This I think this is like Shakespeare. I don't really know why it's there.
Oh, that's Alabama Shakespeare Company.
And they had these little pins. You probably can't see it on the picture. Yeah. And there you could have net some scarves, see the little hats. There's like
the cute little hat.
These fans, all the stuff you could buy. And then they had this.
The
They
fan.
had like
like the
Ooh,
ones
spray
that
you could buy. These little magnets. You could get the little room spray if you wanted. They have these
oh,
shirts where you could be the kid. You can get like it's like the Kit Kat Club. These little shirts.
it's so cute. The fan like Ainsley wore in this
Yeah, buy
photo
this. This was
shoot.
my ticket.
And I know why she put the caption mysterious and fascinating because that's a
Yeah,
lyric too.
this was me in the theater. This is another pic of me in the theater. This is like the set I showed this picture earlier. This is my little. You can see the pen better right here.
Also, the fact that they literally just had these outfits on for the photo shoot. They didn't wear these in the show, but worth it.
Yeah, this
So
is the pen a little better. You can see it better here at the light.
it's so cute and it's so fitting for you because you are a
That's
writer.
why I bought it. This is another picture. I like taking pictures. That's my special interest. This is me after the show and my little outfit that I had put on with my like
No,
jacket.
you were talking to me about like what you should wear, and I was like, black and red are like the colors of the
Yeah,
cabaret.
I
And
want
you
to.
went with like the leather jacket, and I was like, you got jet vibes going on with your leather jacket.
Mhm.
Um,
This is me before my trip to Chicago. This is like 2 hours
yeah,
before
not Ainsley, Jesus. Taryn went on a trip to Chicago.
it for
I
my sorority.
said Ainsley because I found the one where they have a fan
And
in
guys,
the picture.
if you guys didn't know, I am an Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority incorporated. I will worn a shirt a few times in case you're curious. It's like 2 hours before. This is me standing outside waiting for the bus. I was a little delirious at this time. I don't know why I was looking at
Took a plane. I did not
the
sleep.
store, and
I
I thought
barely
this was
slept in between my flights.
yeah. They had milk chocolate with bacon flavored bits and potato chips, and I was like, that's disgusting. So I don't know why I needed to show this, but I took a picture of it nonetheless. Like those gross. And this is in Indiana at a Bob Evans.
For anybody who's like jumped in like right now, yeah, we literally transitioned from talking about Ainsley to Cabaret to just, hey, Taryn went to Chicago.
Yeah, this is the
This is how
Sky
we
Pool Bridge. It was raining, but this is like the bridge you go to go into Chicago.
turned in a story.
This is the entrance to the subway, not the subway, whatever they call it. This is from our first hotel. I took this picture. This is the picture I took. Um, it's really cool. This is another picture. We were walking down the street for like 4 miles.
I kept telling Taryn, I'm like, you're in Chicago PD land.
Yeah, because we walked for like 4 miles because we had to walk from our first hotel to the check-in place where we checked in for the conference.
Oh, I knew there was another picture I forgot to show.
Yeah. This is a picture of walking down the street. Another picture of this very sketchy looking subway thing. They had police tape on it. We're like, that's interesting. Why is there not this is a lion statue. I don't know why there's not connection anymore. Hello. Why is my internet not working? Hello. What? I wasn't finished. Where was I?
No.
Oh, hold on. Now I gotta share my screen. Don't know where it was. That my oh, there's the show. I was talking about the sketchy police tape on the subway. It was kind of weird. We were like, that's a little weird. There was this statue. That was cool. They had a Van Gogh thing. We didn't have opportunity to go through the Van Gogh thing, but there was Van Gogh. Oh, you can't see the screen. It's not ready yet. Hello. Screen share. What Zoom are you being like this? Why is hello? Why are you like this? Okay.
I thought I was gonna have to start um
Okay, let's check
there's like Jeopardy waiting music.
this lion statue.
Oh
Man,
yeah. Like I don't know if you heard me
that's
when I said
art
it,
thing.
but I was like I told you that you're in Chicago PD territory.
Yeah. And again, if we can, there wasn't anything there because there was no filming it.
There's nothing happening.
This garden, the bean, We were like, me and my friends were walking. We were like, the bean. And our graduate was like, what? We're like, the bean.
The
So,
bean.
the bean. So this is a beehive, which I thought was cool. And those like natural beehive things. There are a lot of bees. I have a special interest in bees, so I thought that was cool. This fire department. I had to show you the Chicago Fire Department.
Yes. That's the
Oh,
closest we're gonna get to Chicago Fire.
yeah,
Was
this
actually
garden,
happening.
these flowers,
Oh, pretty.
this building. I don't know what this is, but that's a picture of it nonetheless. So cool. This is me in my outfit for the day. This is another window picture.
So cute.
This is me going out for the night. This is another picture from our hotel. That's Navy Pier, like where that like in the background, where that like Ferris wheel is. That's Navy Pier. It's really cool.
Oh, cool.
They like put our logo on the Ferris wheel too. It was really cool.
Ooh.
I forgot. I don't think I put that picture in. This was another picture when I was going out. It looked really good.
Oh, and you had
Here it
your own
is. Here
little
it is. It's right here on the.
you had your own little celebrity interaction, right?
I did. Oh, I did. I'll tell you about it in a second. I didn't put the pictures in there. This is me. I was very overstimulated and I look crazy, but this was after like all day waiting on this bus and I was looking real crazy. It was so good. This is our hotel and it had all these elevators
Maybe.
and I was like, that's crazy. This is me going. This is me and the vendors. They had this mirror and I was like, let's take a picture and I wouldn't want you to do that, but I did.
No,
This,
I do that all the time.
again, another picture of me. This is somewhere walking again. This is these tables at this hotel, which I thought were cool. This is another mirror picture. Don't know why I like them, but I do. This weird old mailbox that nobody's probably ever gonna use again, but it looked cool.
It is cool.
Me walking with this pint of lemonade because there was this chicken place, and we were like, if I'm gonna cup of lemonade for $3, got the whole pint for $4. So I got the whole pint and I was walking through the street with my pint of lemonade. That's you. Your pictures at Cabaret. I'll tell you about the celebrity
Yeah.
actually next week. That's Kylie again.
Yeah.
We put like a whole
That's
folder.
before.
Me walking with this pint of lemonade because there was this chicken place, and we were like, if I'm gonna cup of lemonade for $3, got the whole pint for $4. So I got the whole pint and I was walking through the street with my pint of lemonade. That's you. Your pictures at Cabaret. I'll tell you about the celebrity actually next week. That's Kylie again. We put like a whole
That's
folder.
before the show. I took my pictures of me. That's my
the picture. Another picture
That's
of
my view from my seat.
that was
I was going to FaceTime so that you can.
It was the actress from
Ainsley is aware of who you are.
it was if
You're in
you
the
guys
box.
watch Bridgerton. I have not watched Bridgerton yet because I don't watch things when they're popular. I wait like months and then be like, it's time to watch it now. It's time to watch it when nobody else is.
Yeah.
Let me look up her name. If my phone go up there. Sort by latest older. Um, her name oh yeah. Her name is Arsema Thomas. She is Lady, I forgot what her character's name because I don't watch Bridgerton. Lady Danbury.
The young Lady Danbury. Oh, that's
Who
awesome.
I have like an up close. I forgot to put the pictures in my thing, but like I was like 2 feet from her. Like where I was sitting, she was like right. She like walked like right past us.
We were both 2 feet from a celebrity.
Like when I say two, like she's in the black, and that's like me sitting at the edge of the table. I've never watched the show yet, so I will watch the show.
You should. It's good.
I watched something not interesting anymore. I told you things. Everything else interesting. Nothing else really matters in my shows. So.
I mean, it's like it's one of the only other shows that I watch besides all the Law and Order shows.
Yeah. So that's what I did. Chicago was fun. It wasn't as hot as Alabama, but I rode a bus there and it took 14 hours like there and back, and that was kind of terrible. But I made it. And now I'm gonna take like 4 days and you'll never hear from me again for like 4 days and then I'll be okay.
The only person that is going to hear from Taryn is me.
I literally have not talked to anybody. Like I've talked to like our friends in the group chat like once and then never talked to anyone else ever again. I talked to my
Yeah,
mom.
we
So
talk
I
to
was
each
like,
other every day. That's about it. And I've
I miss
literally like the only things we've talked about are Cabaret, Ainsley, and
yeah.
the strike,
Yeah. We talked about
and
our
a few other things. But
we talked about like in our personal health, but like mental health and like in my health. Maybe.
and how we have a new term for we used to always call it fixations of
Yeah.
like,
Apparently that's not a good term.
and we now call it special interests.
Yeah, that sounds better than saying I it sounds good. You know, yeah, I have to talk how that
I
because
forgot we both
I'm
had. I
special
forgot
interest
that we
in
both had.
college.
I forgot that we both had the shirt on.
I was rolling
Of
around
course.
because I'm stimming.
Um.
Okay. I think
See.
this is way too long already and I'm getting sleepy. Not
Yeah.
sleepy.
If
These
you
like
have
this is like
listened
the most social
all the way,
interaction I've had for like 4 days. Since I got home, I've not talked to anybody this long. So
I've literally told all of my work friends that I went to go see the show. I told all my family. Everybody in that theater knew that I was there to see Ainsley. And that is about all the interaction I've had other than this. Yeah. Um, if you have listened this far, thank you for listening to the entire thing. Um,
I'm gonna
go
edit.
check out Cabaret.
Yeah, go see what.
Go support the writers' strike.
Yeah, I'm gonna go edit this so I can let it up tomorrow.
And thank you
You
so,
should get
so
this
much.
tomorrow. It's July 20th.
Okay. Yeah, we've talked into another day.
Yeah, it's literally another day. It's
Thank you.
July 18th when we started this.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for listening.
so, so much for listening. We really oh God. We
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
if you
Um,
guys want to, I think you can still leave tips. I think.
and go check out our latest fic that we wrote
I'll
about.
put it in the description.
Yeah, it'll be in the description if you want to read it. Um, we think it's good.
Yeah,
Um, we're working on some more stuff as we speak. We're gonna go
yeah.
right
I go
after we
back to school in like 3 weeks. So
we
like,
don't sleep. We write.
yeah, I go back to school in like 3 weeks. So like,
We should make that. We should make that a new merch thing. We don't sleep. We write.
oh, okay. I'll make. Oh, I guess if you want that for your birthday merch, because we did each did like a birthday one. You gotta write that down for me. I'm gonna
Because
forget.
I told myself at the beginning of the summer, I'm going to sleep so much. My
I
sleep
put it.
schedule is all out of whack.
Yeah, I'm real messed up. Ever since I got home, I'm real messed up. Like I slept till like
Same.
1 o'clock.
Because I barely slept in between the show and my flight because I was still on cloud nine, so excited. And eventually I crashed and my alarm went off.
Yeah, like I have this problem. Well, it's not a problem. I just up saying it's a problem. But like, I have to like readjust. Like it might be like self-diagnosed autism here speaking, but I do really badly when my schedule was like changed. So like leaving my house, going to Chicago, sharing a room with people. They let me have my own bed. We had to do like
Yeah.
two like separate 2 beds, and I did that to myself because they realized I was like, hey, I can't sleep another day. And then getting up like 6:45 in the morning, which I haven't done in like years because I don't have to do that since high school. So I was just
Yeah, I hadn't had to do that in a while too.
yeah, from like two loud people. Yeah. So like I'm saying I'm gonna go in my hovel hole for like 5 days. Uh you'll hear from me eventually. My
The only
suitcase
reason
is like
I'm
it's
going out
volume
of
and my
my
suitcase is on the floor. Like it's halfway open.
the only reason I have to be social is because I work, but other
Because
than that, I'm not doing anything else.
yeah. I
Okay.
think well one day we'll do when we get our brains working. I kind of want to do a mental health episode where we kind of talk about like, hey, this is how we've gotten so far in our
This
lives.
is what I do for my mental health.
This is what I do. This is what's wrong. There's nothing wrong with me, but figuring out how my little brain works. I was trying to go write this down. I'm trying to write this down in our notes, but this is my lake. If you've never seen my lake, you do realize like everything has a place. Like this is just all the folders on
You
my
keep
phone.
telling me I need to organize my stuff, and I keep forgetting to
You're
do
gonna
so.
give me an aneurysm if you don't. I'll do it for if I could do it for you, I would. Like that's how bad it is. I can't do it for you. I'm like, if you don't get a sword right now, I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
I don't
So
want to give you an aneurysm.
it's really like I'll think about it and be like, where's that fic? oh yeah, Callie has to do it. Callie didn't do what I asked her to do. So therefore, I can't fix it myself.
Say
Therefore,
it like that.
then I'll lay there and think about it. Like Callie didn't do what I told her to do. What was I doing? I'm looking at
Don't
it.
say it like that. I'm
That's what my little brain.
sorry.
You wanted that we've talked. That's how my brain thinks about it. Though. That thing I told someone. This is why I don't let other people do. Like I don't have like control issues, but like I'm very particular about how things done are in a timely manner. If they don't get done, I try to do them. If I can't do them, I get frustrated. So literally, I can't do it.
Oh, I knew there was.
Like
Yeah.
I can't do it for you because like how Google like fold like if you make the doc, you have to put it in the folders. All the ones Callie made are not in folders. Mine are.
Because I didn't know how to do it, and then I've just
I'll
forgotten to
show
do it.
you how to do it. It's not where's the podcast stuff? Where
I
did
knew there was one other thing I needed to say, and if
yeah,
they're listening,
because Taryn is tired.
cool.
Zoom
If
in the
they're
podcast.
not, I guess I'll just put it out in the universe. Is there audio from the show?
I mean,
Pretty please. I understand if there isn't. I just figured I'd
I'm
ask.
put it on YouTube, you know.
Especially because today they put out one of the ensemble members singing Sally's song, but like a jazz version of it. So like you're still giving us footage. Can you give us one of Ainsley's songs, please? I'd be so grateful. Specifically, Don't Tell Mama.
Uh-huh. I'm begging you, please.
Oh, also, if the show starts again, can I get my musical episode now?
Please.
Like, I feel like this is enough proof that it can happen. And if you need any explanation of a song that Jet can sing, just watch this. I gave you plenty.
We're begging you.
Begging, please.
Literally. So like if you guys we'll get do have to
Begging for
record. This episode
any
got too long. So we were gonna record the mothership episode another day.
begging for any footage of the show that I could possibly get so I can check
Yeah,
it out.
yeah. We have writing to do. We are guest starring on our podcast at some point soon.
Guys,
We
people
can't
want
like
to
I can't tell you
other
about it
people
because it
want to
hasn't
talk
happened
to
yet.
us.
But they're like, hey, you want you to talk about Law and Order. Do you want to? We're like, oh. So
Yes.
sometime early
Ready for us
August,
to
and
ramble
we'll
for
let you guys know
hours?
when the episode comes out, and they'll probably like tag us and like, yeah, y'all can listen to that. It'll be fun. I go back to school soon. So like for the last time
I
for
don't know what I'm doing.
the last time I go back to school for now.
Somebody's a senior.
Yeah. My friends and I have forbidden that word. We go, you can't say that word. The S word is banned. We say the thing.
Somebody's in their last year of college.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, wait, what
I have
time
to
is it?
do- So I have to like repack
It
my
is,
stuff.
it's past 1 a.m. my time. We
Like I
started
want to turn the
talking.
lights off so bad and lay in my hovel
We
hole
started talking
3 hours ago.
at like 8:30.
Mm-hmm. My time 8:30. Not your time. Yeah.
And keep in mind, I had already made 6 TikTok videos about Cabaret because that is how much I had to say about this incredible production.
Mm-hmm.
And I still talked about it for 3 more hours.
Mm-hmm. So yes. So if you're here the whole time, or thank you.
Thank you for listening.
We'll have another episode.
Really
Season 3 of
appreciate
the podcast. We will have a season 3 of the podcast though. Like I haven't like but like when it happens, you'll find out. Like if we get like show information sometime between now and whenever the show comes in, we'll make episodes about it. It won't be as long. I'll probably just like talk about promo, trailers, stuff, etc., that
Yeah.
kind of stuff soon. But it's not soon whenever it happens because we support the writer's strike.
We don't know what it is. We don't.
So whenever it happens, you'll get stuff. But we'll probably we'll do some true speaks probably.
Talk about
More stuff to fill the gaps, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate your support.
Mm-hmm.
Tell friends about us.
Yeah.
We always love more listeners.
Please, like I want not gonna this is not trying to sound like money grabbing or anything, but we don't have our Spotify ambassadorship anymore because we did not meet the
Money makes
so
the
like,
world go around.
yeah, literally when they were like,
I
hey,
literally
you
like
have 1
started
month.
putting
You have 1 month to
into
get
my vocabulary.
100 followers on Spotify. And something else we had the criteria. You have 1 month to do it, or we're taking your ambassadorship, and we didn't meet the goal. So share with your friends.
Why have you not told me this?
I did tell you this like months ago. It was like March. But anyway, you have to get 100
I was
followers.
not okay in March. I don't remember anything from
You can,
March.
yeah, you have to get 100 followers on Spotify and 100 plays on an episode. So like,
All right, to wrap
share
it
with your
up,
friends, even if they don't really care. Like, play it in the background, something.
thank you for listening. Cabaret is both of our latest musical special interest. Uh
I'm sorry if I look like I'm a little.
I met Ainsley.
I just
I had a dream come true and I met Ainsley. I think that's everything.
yeah, that's it.
Should
We're not
probably
we're
sign
at
off before we
the
start
Zoom
going.
is telling us to go to bed. So we're good night, goodbye. We'll see you next
Bye.
time.
Thank you for
Thank you
listening.
for listening. Explode, explode. It hasn't happened yet.
We'll just sit here until it does.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it hasn't. Usually we're not waiting for it to happen. So like, because Zoom just
We're
goes
just gonna
less than a minute. What does that mean? So we're gonna find out. So goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
It hasn't happened yet. We're still waiting.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye.